What is wrong with this idiot?
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, January 29, 2015. Time for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination, episode 691.
This is No Agenda.
Still digging my way out of the snow in FEMA Region 6, capital of the Drone Star State, Austin, Tejas. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where it's coming down like crazy, air. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
I'm telling you, you slurred again.
I must start the day that way.
Drunk?
I don't drink.
Dope. I'm sorry. You don't drink.
I do not drink.
Mm-hmm. Hey, John, I got to start off. I got to share something with the producers of the show at the top here. Kind of important.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've been self-censoring for personal reasons, and I'm now ready to stop, and I have to. This could, self-censoring is very dangerous to the show.
I did not. I know what you're going to do.
Yeah. And
I don't know that you've been. Hold on a second.
What are you doing?
I just saw a check that was just laying here. Shouldn't have been here.
Stop the show. John found a check. Don't move.
I don't know that you've been self-censoring.
Of course I have.
The topic.
No, of course I have been self-censoring. No. The small personal things, but my experience is that can get kind of fuzzy after a while.
Well, that's a possibility. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for this.
But also because things have changed in my personal in my life. A lot of these experiences are new, but some things that have happened are absolutely relevant to the show.
Okay.
The
floor is yours, my friend.
It's not going to make a big deal out of it, John. Oh. I was in the middle of a media frenzy, which I really didn't want to talk about because I had my ex-wife, my current wife, yelling in the media about, what was going on in my personal life. And the person they disregarded was my daughter, who was kind of like in the middle of everything and innocent. And
you're talking about the Dutch media.
Yes, Dutch media. Exactly. And so I just needed to shut up and not talk about anything. And a lot of stuff that happened to me in this personal realm was a surprise to me. A lot of it is very hurtful and very crappy. And what actually happened is really nobody's business except mine, Mickey's, and any other people who were involved in this. So I need to get the facts out so we can move on, and I don't have to self-censor or have any filters up for the show. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you walking away looking for more checks? Where's my wingman on this? All right.
I'm here.
Good. So Miss Mickey and I no longer live together. I'm pretty sure that's not going to change. And she's not going to stay in Austin. She's not even in the country at the moment. And sorry?
I was going to ask some questions as though I was the audience.
Yes. Okay. Why don't you do that?
Does she not like Austin?
No, she hates Austin.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Go on.
But she's also probably doesn't like me.
Well, that's new, though.
Well, yeah, to the extent that it was, there was a lot of things going on, and I was kind of laughing off some reports. But when you start to find out, hey, wait a minute, something's wrong here, and then
so you were actually unaware when the first media reports came out.
Yes,
and you were
and I mocked
denial.
them.
You just didn't.
I mocked them. I'm like, what is this crap? Yeah, I mocked
again.
Them.
I was going to say I don't want to defend the media, but looks like they were on top of something.
Yes. Yeah. Directly from horses' mouths, etc.
Okay.
So I've taken some.
Well, that's everybody that feels bad now.
Well, they should. But I felt really. Here's the good news. There's some good news coming out of this. One, when all this crap came down, my daughter hopped on the plane. She said, "Dad, I'm coming to you." And she gave me some shit and straightened me out in a couple ways. And we are reconnecting on new levels with each other. We got work to do, but I'm very impressed with her She figured all her crap out while a group of adults were, engulfed in their own ego drama, acting like a bunch of a-holes, including me at times. And so that's good news moving forward. Also, I've been able to downsize, which is important. Certainly, if you see the donation levels for our Thursday shows.
Good timing.
For me, very good timing. And I am now in downtown Austin. And so I think that's all anybody really needs to know at this point. Did I leave anything out? Did I miss anything?
Well, I have something to say.
Okay.
I think that since you've been going, I knew about this, I don't know, about a month ago, I think is when it began. Whatever the case is, you've been doing a yeoman's job of carrying the show along with no apparent, not missing a beat. In fact, we've gotten a lot of compliments for the last 2 or 3 shows as some of the best material we've done. And I think that will continue because I just think we're in such a roll.
Well, I hope so. I was going to say there's one other thing that is coming out of this. I personally, I'll put my hand in my own bosom for a moment. I am developmentally delayed. So being alone for, that's an actual medical term I found. Developmentally delayed.
It's pretty hard to use that term when you're 50.
This is the sad thing, John. I'm 50 and I am developmentally delayed. So this is a growth and growing moment for me. Even though there's sadness and crap and stuff going on, but at least now that's out, and now and I really needed to do that. So now we can talk about important things like Tinder.
Tinder.
Long way to go for a joke, and he didn't get it. That's too bad.
Yes, no, it was a Shaggy Dog story. I didn't get it.
Do you know what Tinder is?
No.
Oh, Tinder is.
Yeah, I know what it is. Stuff you start to the stuff that burns easy.
It's the dating app.
Oh, I don't know anything about Tinder.
Okay, well,
maybe if you said, what was the other one, Grindr?
No, if I'd said Grindr, then we'd be in trouble.
Grindr.
Although I have considered, maybe I should just, when you have your ex-wife going to the media saying, I was eavesdropping on my daughter talking to her dad. What? Yeah, and it looks like he's moved out. And then I have my current wife saying, no, nothing's wrong, nothing to see here, carry on. And then the media does news pieces about me. It went something like this.
Finding more of those crappy photos.
Oh, yeah, total crappy photos.
Yeah.
And this was a video piece, because I wouldn't talk to anybody. Oh, we're Adam Curry, no woman, no money, and all he has now is a podcast in a shed somewhere in the middle of Texas. I kid you not. A shed.
If you think about it.
A shed.
Poor bastard's a podcaster.
Oh, no. It's one thing to have 2 divorces, but to be a podcaster, holy crap. That he really fell off the showbiz ladder, didn't he?
Not knowing that this is the future.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway. So
there's a bunch of, by the way, I was listening to a lot of podcasts because we're always, of course, on the lookout for stuff for the stream. But I just like to listen to podcasts once in a while. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of good podcasts out there. And there seems to be this growing movement that podcasting is the next big thing.
Isn't that interesting, though?
Did you notice this?
Yes. And I noticed something else that goes along with this. So the resurgence of the podcast is mainly because of NPR, public radio offshoots, which have a dual model. I mean, they have ways of making money through sales to of some of their properties to public radio, but also they're doing one big sponsor. I'm specifically talking about the Serial podcast. And I was thinking about what is it that makes this podcast Serial so exciting to people. And then it hit me. We actually have been doing the original Serial podcast for almost 7 years. Now, and bear with me.
Explain that.
Bear with me for a second. So the Serial podcast is an episodic from episode to episode. It carries over and you're following a storyline.
Until it ends, like a story.
Right. Here's the beauty. The No Agenda Show, we always like, why do people... they don't want to just skip shows. They want to listen to everything. They're religious about listening to everything. Don't want to miss it. They'll even be behind. That is because we have characters. We have threads of information that go all the way through people come, people go, people die off, people are killed off all the time in our show.
Well, we do have characters, Noodleman and the Kloppity Klop and all these characters.
Yes. Melonhead, all this stuff.
Yes, it's true.
President Obama and the other President Obama. I mean, what show has two Obamas on it? Come on.
None.
No. And this is why people do this, because they don't want to miss something and not understand. Well, wait a minute, what are they talking about? What does this term mean? Or what is this piece of information that I missed? And the great news is our podcast will only end in our own deaths. Right? The serial podcast has to end when the story's over. It's over. It's done. And then they have to pick up a new story.
Well, we could be kicked off the air by the government, which would actually be an ending.
It would be an ending.
And that actually would be a good ending, because it would close the circle. It would actually, because we've been predicting this ending, and this could happen. Not happen.
This would not be good
term,
because that would be very bad. Then the Dutch media would have something to write.
Shut down by the government.
Yeah, he's in the soup kitchen. Soup.
Yeah. That would be next.
That'll be very next.
Although we should work the soup kitchen anyway.
Well, I've worked the soup kitchen in Austin.
Well, okay, so we are a cereal of sorts. I agree.
Yeah, no,
we
of sorts. No, this is what
and
it
we
is.
Also, I think also the show's too long. We'll talk about that later. Okay. So, but let's start off with something light.
Ladies and gentlemen, you never have to worry. And when I saw the clips come in, I thought to myself, you didn't have to worry.
I did watch Miss Universe.
Hey, exactly.
Now, and this is one of the Trump properties.
Notice, by the way, how we go from my relationship is in shambles to hot girls with sashes.
Since it's a Trump property, the women are going to be gorgeous from top to bottom. And Miss Estonia and Lithuania and Latvia, who didn't get into the finals, it was a shame.
Perhaps we should explain why we follow these beauty pageants.
I think you should explain it.
Well, it is something that is so strange to the culture of women today, yet still accepted. To me, personally, it is mind-boggling that we will judge women on just how hot they are. Publicly, we'll do this with a lame-ass competition. And, of course, our favorite piece is the question session.
Which, of course, is the only thing I really concentrate on.
It really matters because the questions are rigged and often political in nature. And
they're all political, yeah.
And the answers are,
idiotic.
Usually hilarious. Yeah.
Now, before I get to the clips I have, they're pretty short, and it's a questions and answers of the five finalists. Mm-hmm. Curiously, the five finalists are Miss USA. They always throw her in. She's a very pretty girl, not the brightest bulb in the socket. But
and she, what state was she from?
I don't remember. Don't ask details. I'm not going to get anywhere.
I'm sorry.
Miss Ukraine, of course, because you want to.
You got it.
Russia.
Yeah, you got to F Russia.
And by the way, there's a lot of beautiful women in Ukraine, and this woman was evil looking. I didn't like her. Miss Netherlands.
Oh, who was Miss Netherlands?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Whatever the case was, she doesn't even look Dutch. She looks like Hispanic, actually.
Oh,
very dark hair.
Let me see.
Miss Jamaica, Miss Jamaica looked Chinese. I have no idea what was going on there. And then Miss Colombia. Uh-huh. Now, Miss Colombia, when they first picked the five women, I think this is a disappointing part of the show. They only put them in the bathing suits, and they came running out and running back.
Oh.
I think the entire group of all these women from around the world should be in bathing suits.
All the time.
The whole time. Well, that would be great.
Driving my Ferrari.
Because they have, this particular group didn't have that strange over-pumped stomach that produces a vertical muscle that sticks out.
Right.
This was a more slender, very shapely group. But Miss Colombia, it was mind-boggling what she looked like in a bathing suit. And she's the first one who came out, and I thought she was going to be at a disadvantage, and she ended up winning it all.
Oh.
I think because of the bathing suit. I mean, she was outrageous looking in a bathing suit. And so she should have won. And she was very pleasant. And she was also the only one who didn't try to speak English as her answer to the question.
And
she kept it in a very rigid, almost Castilian Spanish, where they.
I feel kind of stupid that we didn't discuss who would be the winner beforehand.
Well, we wouldn't have guessed Colombia. I would have guessed that Ukraine would be picked.
Yeah, for finals, for sure.
Colombia's was a long shot. And then so she spoke in Spanish, and she seemed very erudite. The other people, all of them, of course, even in fact, Ms. USA, spoke in kind of a stammering, ludicrous English. It was the worst.
Nice.
But let's start off by listening to these women do the questions, and the first two will be a little longer than the rest. I tried to cut it down, but it began with Miss USA.
Okay. Miss USA it is.
Here we go. First up, let's invite over USA. Please come and join us. Select a bowl from the card, hand that to Natalie.
All right, judge number 1, Manny Pacquiao, your question, please.
Wait, you know what? This makes me mad. Judge number 1, John C. Dvorak, your question, please. I mean, it would be just as unrecognizable. In fact, you are more recognizable than whoever this guy is.
Oh, no.
Who is this guy?
Manny Pacquiao, one of the best pound-for-pound boxer in the world. Very famous.
See, there you go. He's
an extremely famous guy. I mean, the fact that you don't know him doesn't, it's just...
All right.
I don't know why you don't know.
I'm sorry. I was trying to hook you up.
Here's the problem.
Trying to hook you up with a
Filipino that can't speak English, barely.
Yeah. I'm just trying to hook you up with a gig, that's all.
If you were given 30 seconds to deliver a message to a global terrorist, what would you say?
Wait. Stop. What was the question? If you had 30 seconds to say anything to the terrorists?
Miss USA has to reiterate the question. She's almost shuddering and blinking and winking and doing takes.
Did I hear what he said? That if you had 30 seconds to say anything to the terrorists,
global terrorists,
global terrorists, what would you say?
Okay. If I was given 30 seconds to give a message to the global terrorists.
Wow. We know our entertainment, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
Ah, man, we're good.
Is that what you said? Okay. I would just say that, I know as Miss USA, I can always spread a message of hope and love and peace. And so I would do my very best to spread that message to them and everyone else in the world.
All right, here's how it would go. Hi, I'm Miss USA. I'm Miss Universe. I want to spread a message of love and peace to everybody.
And her head is gone.
That's exactly how it would go.
No, you gotta. What kind of an answer is this to that question?
Well, what kind of a question is it?
It was a stupid question. It was handed. By the way, it was almost as though they put the camera on him just as the guy was handing him a sheet over his shoulder to read. But here's the only correct answer that she should have given.
We need to kill them. We need to kill them.
Thank you very much, everybody.
If she probably could have won the competition.
If she said that, yeah, absolutely.
All right, so then next up comes Miss. This one's a beauty, by the way. This is Miss Netherlands.
Okay.
Next, we have the Netherlands. Come on over. Please join us, Netherlands.
Please come over and join us. We're going to ask you to select your question card from the bowl.
Go ahead.
Go ahead and pick, please. And I'll take that from you. And we're going to judge number 6, Giancarlo Stanton. Your question, please.
What's the biggest change you'd like to see for young women in the next generation?
What is the biggest change?
What?
I don't know. Can you repeat the question?
Wait a minute. This is the Dutch girl?
Yeah.
But she can't understand what he just said. Where is she? No, wait, hold on. I got to see where she's from. Where is this girl from?
I don't know.
The Dutch understand English perfectly.
Not this one.
What's the biggest change you'd like to see for young women in the next generation?
I'm ambassador for child prostitution. And
she is the ambassador for
child prostitution.
I want that child prostitution stopped. So that's what I want for the next generation.
Wow. Man.
It was the worst.
Yeah, that's really bad. I'm the ambassador for child prostitution. I want that T-shirt. And by the way,
ambassador.
How about I know the ambassador for child prostitution? That would be the T-shirt to have. Man, I feel bad about this.
Oh yeah.
Jeez. Okay.
Okay. Now after her, I believe came.
Speak of developmentally delayed.
This woman
sounded like it.
She was terrible.
Yeah.
And then they had another question at the end, which I didn't record. They all had, this was idiotic. They all had to answer the same question. So they brought one out and put headphones messing up their hairdo.
Oh no. This is is this Trump?
Yeah.
So here's how the meeting goes. Hey, I got an idea. You want to have some fun? So we'll give them the same question. And then we'll bring up one by one, but then we'll put one in a fish tank and we'll mess up her hair with the big headphones. And we'll put on Kenny G really loud.
All right, here we go. This is Miss Ukraine, who again decided to answer in English. She got the question in Ukrainian, or Russian, and she answered in English. And
I didn't know you could choose to not answer in your own in your mother tongue. Is that I didn't know that was an option.
The way they started, they said we have a bunch of translators so everyone can speak in the language of their home, or they can speak whatever. But they didn't do that. They all spoke or they tried to speak in English, but it was like that Miss Netherlands woman who apparently can't speak English.
I have a feeling she may be from one of the multi-culti countries that she is. That's not a Dutch accent. I don't know where she's from, but she's not Dutch born, or maybe she's Dutch born, but not.
I don't know, but yeah, I agree. It's not a Dutch accent. She couldn't understand English and could barely speak it.
I'm going to look into her. Who are we playing now? This is Miss Ukraine?
Ukraine.
But Ukraine, please come over and join us. It's your turn. If you would
please go ahead and select a card.
Выберите, пожалуйста, вопрос.
Please hand it to Natalie.
Judge number 3, Lisa Vanderpump. Your question, please.
Lisa Vanderpump from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Perfect.
If you could remove the swimsuit competition from the Miss Universe pageant, would you? And why or why not?
Если бы ты могла бы снять соревнования с купальником из конкурса, ты бы это сделала или нет?
It depends on situation. If it's gonna be nice, why not? I feel comfortable in anything. Thank you. Yeah.
What did you say?
I feel comfortable.
Me too.
Comfortable.
I'm affordable.
No, comfortable.
I know.
Meaning comfortable.
Comfortable, yeah.
Comfortable in anything. Thank you. That was it.
Good night. I'll be here all week, everybody. Wow.
So she was. That wasn't good.
So Yasmin Verheijen, very Dutch name, studying architecture, interior design in Amsterdam. She. This is very strange. Okay, I'm not finding anything good on her. All right.
And then the next came up was Miss Jamaica, who, like I said, looks Asian. She's really pretty, but a very exotic, non-standard beauty. It wasn't like dime a dozen anything.
Play?
Miss Jamaica.
Judge number 10, Emilio Estefan. Your question, please.
Wow. How's his career, Emilio Estefan? Although I'd kill for this gig.
Hello. 1 of 3 women who will experience violence in her lifetime. What can we be done to get that number down?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Yeah, no one understood. Emilio Estefan, by the way, is Gloria Estefan's husband. Very successful music producer. Those people own half of Miami. So why he does this, I don't know.
Hello?
Well, that happens a lot. 1 of 3 women who will experience a violence in her lifetime. What can we do to get that number down?
Oh, okay.
Good evening, esteemed judges. Good evening, Doral. Crime is a global phenomenon. It does not affect just one nation. And we as people of the world should work together to prevent it now. Thank you.
Okay.
That was quite answering the question.
No.
It was late.
Hello, Detroit.
All right, so then we move on to the winner, the eventual winner, Miss Columbia. And now this is interesting because she seems erudite, speaking in her native Castilian Spanish with the lisping, and she, as opposed to Mexican Spanish, and she presents herself well, and she is a very pretty woman, but she, along with the rest of them, says absolutely nothing. In fact, her answer may be the worst in terms of like just some vague generality and goodbye.
Judge number 8, Rob Deerdeck, your question, please.
All right. Well, probably all the time people have asked you, what can men learn from women? But I'd like to know, what could women learn from men?
Probablemente a ti siempre te preguntan qué pueden aprender los hombres de las mujeres. Pero yo te quiero preguntar, ¿qué pueden aprender las mujeres de los hombres?
Mongo Popular.
Pienso que las mujeres, pues, es una pregunta muy difícil.
I believe that women, that's quite a tough question.
I want this guy just walking around next to me the whole time. I believe that women, that's
the
quite
funny
a tough
part
question.
about this guy, he's short, and he looks like the character in the Woody Allen movie, Bananas, who's just standing around translating, like speaking English with a Spanish accent.
This is humorous.
Pienso que todavía existen hombres que creen en la igualdad.
I believe there's still men who believe in equality.
Y eso es lo que pienso que las mujeres deberían aprender de los hombres.
And I believe that is what women should learn from men.
Okie dokie.
This was it.
Yeah.
There are some men who believe in equality.
Not many, but very few, actually.
Very few.
We want to.
This is what women can learn from men. What?
Oh, man. Oh, wow. Where is the outrage from the feminists who are always
up on this? I mean, they used to be outraged. I remember.
When? I don't remember any outrage.
I do. In the 70s, you were probably much of a kid.
70s, yeah.
In the 70s, no, seriously, during that era of a certain kind of feminism that's actually gone pretty much, the old Betty Friedan stuff, there was outrage over these, and there was people that would hiss you if you brought up beauty pageants or anything. And for some reason, and I don't know what's changed, but I think it was some good looking. There are women out there, and a lot of them are celebrities, and a lot of them aren't. A lot of them are doing other things that were kind of raised in a beauty pageant environment, and they did these pageants, and they enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, but there are entire reality shows based on the teen, the baby beauty pageants.
And so what they throw back at the feminists, and they could be feminists themselves, but they threw back at the feminists. Why can't I do this? I like it. I enjoy it. Why can't I do what I want to do? And if this is what I want to do,
Sure. But this is objectification to a massive degree. It's Trump, for Christ's sakes. It's Trump. Everybody is so easy to pee on Trump, but when it comes to this, they're silent.
I think the point is well taken.
I mean, maybe even say, "Oh, you want to vote for Donald Trump to be maybe a presidential candidate? Look at how he treats women." Just say that, maybe. But
you can do say, "Well, he's never serious about running for president. He just likes to."
No, I know.
I think he just practices his speaking.
But you understand my point.
Yeah, no, I think it's a point that
at the spin class, at the spin class the other day.
Oh, the spin class.
Oh, yeah. No, I
had a spin class clip that I'm going to have to go dig up and put on the show next time you bring up spin class.
But it's mainly women. And after the class, I hang around with a few of them. We talk with the instructor, talk about what a great ride. Yeah, great ride.
About the technique.
Yeah, oh yeah, and the music, the playlist.
You should push down with the right, and when the pedal goes around behind you, and you push with the other leg.
You can mock; it doesn't hurt me because I'm going to live a long time. And it was like some remark, like, we need more hot guys in the spin class. And I said, I just want to point one thing out. If I had said in this public gathering, we need more hot babes, you would have vilified me. Sexism works both ways. You cannot get away with that. And I could just see the blank stares. What?
Were they blank stares of utter stupidity? They didn't get what you said? Or were they blank stares of Oh, I never thought of that.
I never thought of that. It was I believe, what the blank stare was.
You don't know for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. It's good to go out and lecture the public.
Yes.
Did you give them a No Agenda CD right after you did that?
I'm very popular. They know what I do. They know what I do.
That poor bastard.
Yeah. He's a podcaster. Give him a free lesson. By the way, chat room, after saying, oh, we feel bad for you, the second thing everyone's saying, oh, he'll start smoking again. Yeah, he's going to start smoking again. Watch him start smoking. You a-holes. No.
I think he finally got over smoking.
I sure did. Yeah. Does this wrap up the report, John?
That's all I got.
Wow.
I went and I watched. All the women were outrageous, just above Trump level. They look good in swimsuits, or the 5 that were in them, and the rest of the women were all. You could have picked a whole nother 5, and you would have had just as good a luck.
Well, John, I really appreciate you jumping on the grenade once again and sitting through this incredible disaster.
Well, I can only do it with the help of a DVR.
Yes, so you can fast forward through
the show is 3 hours long.
Really?
Yes,
3 hours,
and it's like mostly fluff and commercials and advertising and Planet ads and native ads and bullshit analysis, and it just goes on and on. And so you have to.
Did they have country? Did they have the country videos where you showed the country of origin?
Yeah, they had a little bit of that, but I skipped all that.
Oh no! But what did they show? Ukraine with Miss Ukraine walking amongst rubble, airplane debris, and blown up buses and stuff. No.
She did when they had that last question, which was some vague thing. A Facebook question, by the way. She said something about their country being attacked by the evil Russians, but that was wasn't enough to get her to win, because she wasn't that good looking. She was of the 5. She was the least attractive because she had this. She just didn't have she had a kind of an evil Eurasian look, like she's gonna kill you,
beat you up, knife you, right?
Yeah.
Well, with that, I can only. Thank you for your courage and say, in the morning to you, John C. Dvorak, where the C stands for Columbia.
Well, and in the morning to you, Adam Curry. Also, in the morning to all the ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
In the morning to the chat room. I love you, chat room. Thank you for joining us at noagendastream.com. And thank you to our artists who always upload the album art, a very important part of the entire production, to have our art changed with every single episode. We need to thank, let me get my thing here, John Fletcher. John Fletcher, of course, the man known from and
Coke Brother.
He's our shouter. He is multi-talented, Mr. John Fletcher is.
He's our professional shouter.
Yeah. Yeah, some hotels have a professional greeter. Yeah, we have a professional shouter. Town crier. Podcast crier. That's what he is.
It's not that easy to do that.
No, it's complicated for sure.
To make it sound like he does, I can't do it.
It's a talent. It's a real talent.
It's unusual. He must be his kids. He must yell at his kids. That must be it. Jennifer.
Well, yeah, here he is yelling at his kids.
Dvorak.
There you go.
So let's thank a few people who are executive producers for show 691.
Wow, we're coming up on 700 already.
Yeah, we're almost there.
The big 700 club.
Starting with Sir Daniel Miller out of Knoxville, Tennessee. And by the way, I want to mention, his donation came in by check, and the next donation that came in by check was also from Knoxville, Tennessee.
You have this random number theory that has happened so often.
It happens all the time. And it's random, or technically random. He sent a note in, and I've got a new way of organizing the notes.
Oh,
we're testing this.
Oh boy, this is why the check was on the floor.
This is that 9-cent check that I never deposit. I just keep it around. I think I'm going to frame it.
Okay.
I mean, anyone sends 9 cents in, I don't think they're
just being a douche.
Their book should never be resolved.
Yeah, no.
Then I maybe let it sit for about 2 years and then send it to collections.
There you go.
It's a bank that picks up old checks. ITM Guardians of Reality. Here is some value for the best podcast in the universe. As you discussed recently, Obama and Biden were in the East Tennessee in early January to make several announcements. At one of their stops, a 3D printed Shelby Cobra was on display.
Life size?
Apparently.
Wow. Huh.
I heard from someone involved in the visit that the advanced White House staff requested that the car be Biden proof. They went so far as to recommend that the entire drivetrain be disengaged so that there was no chance he could climb in and start the car.
Nah, that sounds like a goof.
Well, it also sounds like a good idea. If it's a 3D printed car, he drives it off and it blows up.
Yeah.
Huh. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President of the United States, please send some of the amazing No Agenda karma my way. Sir Daniel Miller, and he is up to 1333.33, and he's keeping tabs.
Very nice.
You've got karma.
Gracias.
His letterhead is a National Engineering Forum, so I believe that story is probably accurate about Biden.
That's great. I love that story. Never heard this anywhere else.
You won't hear stuff like this anywhere else.
You will not.
Onward, Tim Anonymous in Parts Unknown, $300. And he does the right thing. He sends the check. This one came in the mail. And he puts a sticky note right on top of the check that says Tim Anonymous. That way it's not like... we've had situations where we got a check and then I put the note aside. Yeah. And then when I start reading the note, after you tell who the guy is, he says, please keep me anonymous. No, this Tim Anonymous has got a clue. That's how you do it.
Got it. Sticker.
Don O'Malley in St. Paul, Minnesota, 214. I would like to call up my wife Jen for Valentine's Day and give her the producership for the Valentine's show. I'd also like a belated birthday shout out since she just celebrated surviving her 33rd year on January 25th. We got that listed. The douchebag check call out was wonderful and caused me to finally get off my ass and donate. We need more of those. We need more douchebag call outs.
Yes.
This is the one place where I get to say I hit my wife and kids in the mouth, and it's encouraged. I love when my girls echo the jingles. It makes me laugh every time. I'm sure it does. Thank you. I wonder which ones would they do?
I don't know.
Probably Boom Shakalaka.
Boom Shakalaka, yeah.
Thank you for making the mainstream media another source of comedy. While I listened to it initially, after the first listening to the show, it made me depressed. We've heard that before.
Yes, that's it.
And I don't get it. But now I can't help but laugh hysterically at the ridiculousness that is mainstream media. There you go. You finally turned the corner. ITM, and thank you for your courage. Could I get a Sharpton Boom Shakalaka remix with a toot to the head followed by Dr. Kiki? It was worth it.
It's not Sharpton. It's Manning. It's Manning. It's not. Yeah, Reverend Manning, not Sharpton. A Rev nonetheless.
Bingo, boom, boom, shakalaka, boom, 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 shakalaka, boom, boom.
It was worth it. It was worth it. You've got karma.
Okay, so I go back to my pile because I have all the sent in letters and notes in order of donation amount. So I don't have to fish. You know, I'm always fishing through the pile looking for the notes. There's no reason to if they're all in order. Donation. They're in order.
What a concept.
I was stunned.
Wow.
I was recommended.
Wow.
So this is, who was it again? Yes, Amanda Rosette in Vernon, Connecticut. Did you hear that?
Yeah, what was that?
That's the garbage guys picking up the recycling. And this 214 for
Valentine's Day. Yep.
This magical shape-shifting Jew is declaring her love for No Agenda.
There she is. We finally found one. The magical shape-shifting Jew.
She's got a little red heart.
Thank you, Amanda.
Please dose me with some Ebola Calypso.
Whoa.
Tech exam karma.
Ebola Calypso. This thing is mislabeled somewhere.
Ebola.
Is it this one? I think it's a...
Ebola.
Ebola. got Ebola.
He come from Africa, give diarrhea.
Everybody now.
You've got karma.
Very nice. Well, thank you.
She also won a tech exam. What's that?
Tech exam?
That's what it says.
Well,
it says Ebola Eclipse / tech exam.
I have no idea what that means.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I don't know tech exam.
I don't know either. It's probably something. She'll remind us. William Doty in Madison, Wisconsin, 201, and he'll be the last of the group. And let me just go to the pile. It's right on top, and pull out his note, which is just the worst. And this is I don't know how old Doty is, but he is a millennial. I'm sure of it because of his writing.
Mm-hmm.
Greetings from the liberal social justice 89% white island amidst the Red Sea of Scott Walker Republicans that is the University of Wisconsin-Madison. First semester has been a rousing success, and No Agenda is responsible for this, as you two have, this is all one sentence, by the way, as you two have provided me with a mountain of hours of socio-political infotainment to carry me through my studies.
Well,
living in the Mulholland learning community, multicultural. Sorry, living in the multicultural learning community here, I have learned of the many intersections that exist between the points discussed on the show and racism. It is a good idea to look not too far, as our America is not post-racism. It's not post-racist. Okay.
Oh, okay.
In contrast to the white liberal myth that has been hard, and you'll touch on it extremely well in your talking of the Western media constructed idea of those radical Muslims that can't speak out against terror and kill people when they... Okay, it goes on.
Right. Well, what he's identifying is because of the model we choose, which is exactly what you see working here. People are... people are using Kickstarter because they want to have a laptop they want or a cell phone, and all you need is just a factory. Now, we're not quite just a factory, but we are delivering the product the listeners, the community, the group wants. We still do the work, and it's something that cannot be discussed because your typical advertiser or your network news program, they have too many ancillary reasons not to do this because
too many filters.
Well, their advertisers may not like it. Or their shareholders may not like it. Their advertisers
the producers, executive producers of the show may think that the advertisers might not like it, and they're not going to take a chance.
It's called self-censorship. There you go. It's a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous thing.
Well, he went on to praise us for show 687. He says, it was phenomenal. No Agenda is the finest in my opinion. Thank you for your courage. Give me a Ukraine cocaine and a... Oh, man. Boom Shakalaka Mofo. And he's got a flip over. Whoever wrote to the In the Morning of Floor Ballroom in Nolan Hill needs to donate. Oh, so he's got a bath or something, a bathroom or something. I don't know. Neelan Hall needs to donate and show themselves to be Badger slaves.
You know what the problem is? I wish I had known this but I have no idea where that song is. It's the Ukraine song, the Eric Clapton, Ukraine.
Ukraine.
I wish I...
Now you know what it's like when you clips. When I name clips, I sometimes go, what the hell was this? Why did I name it that? All right, well, we'll get you that before the end of the show or next show.
If you just give me 1 second, I might actually find it.
Okay, well then just the Boom Shakalaka Mofo.
He needs it. What was it again? Just a what kind of Boom Shakalaka?
Just Boom Shakalaka Mofo, it says.
What is that? What is Boom Shakalaka? I don't know what it is.
It just said short Boom Shakalaka with the Mofo thing from...
Adios Mofo. Oh, okay.
And then it's Karma. Give him Karma.
Man. Sorry.
Shouldn't it just be called Ukraine cocaine?
That's what you'd think?
Yeah, that's what I'd think.
But you know how many clips we have? Well, no, it's not. Let's do this first.
Boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka.
Adios, mofo.
You've got karma.
No, that was a tough one, man. I will, maybe I'll find it by the end of the show.
Okay.
I don't think it went back into the jingle bin or anything, because it's one of those things that,
it's a one-off.
Kind of a one-off. Oh, by the way, a lot of people, for some reason, it's kind of amping up. A lot of people are requesting and actually offering kindly their services to curate our jingles, to really, organize them. And someone say, "Oh, we, would love to, sell them on iTunes." Here's what I really appreciate that, and we have a lot of, what we've collected over the years, jingles and songs and bits and stuff. Unfortunately, we really can't do that because, be a moneymaker for the show. No. What happens is, I used to always put new jingles out in a Dropbox, and it would go and take them, whatever. And I started hearing them everywhere, but not like, "Hey, this is something funny," or "Hey, thanks to the No Agenda show." No, just like it was theirs, and just using these bits over and over again.
Steal freely.
Yes,
and there's also copyright issues with some of these. They can be used in the context of the show, but they can't be sold as
This
such.
is very true. We have a lot of things that were made by people who automatically have a copyright just because of their production, and I can't speak on their behalf.
Right, and you can't sell them. I mean, we got the Putin. We use it on the show as a contribution from Fletcher, but if we started selling it as such,
no, that's not okay.
It's Fletcher's property.
Exactly.
So no, this is too complicated. And what people need to do is think of the show as a product that they are supporting.
Yeah, but I've said many times, if you really, really want something, then you have a reason for it. You email me. I'm happy to send it to you. Don't inundate me now, please.
No, it has to be a good reason.
Yeah,
it has to,
because we don't have a staff and management. It's another part.
We have nobody but us. We're trying to do the show. We don't need to be sending clips to people.
It's another part of our model.
If you record the show, you can pull the clip from the show yourself.
Oh crap! We were supposed to record the show. Oh, just kidding.
It has happened.
Yeah, it has. Yes, many times. All right, these are our executive and associate executive producers. Thank you so much. It is another typical Thursday. Where it's low.
Yes, it fell off again.
I don't know what it. Well, there you go.
Last Thursday it picked up that one time, and then it fell off. And we're going to have to bitch and moan about it. I think. And
why don't we bitch about it in the second segment? We'll bitch about it there. Okay, because I know you have something to say, and I think I agree with you. So again, thank you to these producers. These are real credits. Anywhere credits can be used, they will be accepted. And unlike the phonies in Hollywood, we'll be very happy to vouch for their authenticity.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And of course, we always need you out there, out front and center, doing the work of propagating the formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
So this was very funny. Well, not to people in New England, perhaps, but certainly in New York, we had this huge blizzardorama, the blizzard apocalypse, whatever was being predicted.
Blizzpocalypse
was being predicted, and of course, it didn't really come true
at all. And even in the Boston area, that's just a nor'easter. It's every couple of years.
Yeah, and they're kind of used to it. So obviously, this is used on models. In fact, the Weather Channel actually did predict it properly, and there's a whole piece that I put in the show notes about what they used to forecast and how they modeled it. But here's the funny thing: the National Weather Center, who have thousands of meteorologists and a newly upgraded forecasting supercomputer. Did you know that this all was from the newly upgraded supercomputer, John?
No.
Yes.
Wow.
They have a nationwide network of balloons, weather radar, satellite technology. They even sent hurricane hunters, to fly through the storm to take additional measurements, and still their model did not predict correctly, not even close.
No, I was watching the Weather Channel the day before.
Mm-hmm.
It was all supposed to hit, and all hell was going to break loose. It was going to be the storm of the century and the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all in on it.
Oh, really? Because apparently they slowed down pretty quick and said, hold on a second.
Well, they must have slowed down when it began.
And what was interesting is watching CNN, of course, where they were in such denial. And, and I was, of course, I'm like now looking at Twitter and seeing people saying, oh, my, this is so stupid. Nothing's happening. Actually hoping, here's how stupid people are. I hope it really gets bad. People die in these situations, you morons.
Yes, it's not really.
Don't hope for that stuff, you idiot. And then Don Lemon, who was just so mad that he was so mad they had him out there. Be like, it's picking up. I can feel it. It's really picking up. No, Don, it's not picking up.
Where he was in New York?
Yeah, you all look like
New
idiots.
York was a joke.
Yeah, you look
Nothing
like fools.
happened.
You look like
and they shut down the city, and then we mentioned that somebody's hospital was closed for the first time in history.
Yeah, stupid.
And they told everyone to stay home, and they put a military curfew out at 11 o'clock because they didn't want anybody out looting.
Stupid. Okay, so this, of course, did lead to some hilarity, of which I have clips.
Good.
Yes. Here is, I don't even know where to start, quite honestly. It's so fantastic. Here's the mayor of Bridgeport, Connecticut. And of course, now, it was very tempting. I did not do it. I actually didn't see that many people say, well, there was always a couple saying, oh, there it is. This is your climate change. It's all, but some of the true climate, man-made climate alarmists took the opportunity to say, well, this is exactly what happens with man-made global warming is you get these kinds of superstorms. And here's the mayor of Bridgeport, and he's on the phone with the Rev Al Sharpton. And Al, you know what? Al Sharpton has got the goods on somebody big. And I'm going to just come out and say it. He's got something on Obama that is so bad.
I think you know what it is.
Yeah, I think so too. And there is a distinct possibility Al Sharpton winds up being, like some appointed person at some point.
Or dead.
Well, there you go.
Our fire department isn't going to want to have to battle fires in this kind of a setting. So if the power does go out, we're making plans for that eventuality, encouraging people not to use candles, not to use space heaters, and to be very cautious with anything that involves a flame, during this time, that firefighters will have a hard time putting fires out.
Wow. Well, Bridgeport, Connecticut Mayor Bill Finch, thank you so much for your time tonight, and please be safe.
We will, and thank you for your show, Reverend. You've been fighting the good fight on climate change, and we can see crazy climate here, and we'd like to have a little bit more of you down in Washington.
All right, thank you.
Al Sharpton apparently has been fighting the good fight on climate change.
Well, he has been promoting climate change a lot, but why is this guy kissing his ass? kind of a mayor is this guy? Besides the fact that there was hardly anything going on.
I think he knows something because he said, we need to see more of you in Washington. I thought, oh, okay. Maybe he knows something.
He was given a talking point. There's no reason to say that out of the blue because nobody in their right mind would think that. Who in their right mind thinks a scammer like Al Sharpton should be more in Washington more? What is wrong with this idiot?
Well, Sharpton clearly has something on him too. Sharpton he's the raconteur, man. He's
he's definitely got something going on.
My favorite person now who weighed, and this, of course, it's not a stretch to see that Bill Nye, the science guy, would come out and then, of course, immediately take this to the climate change tip. What was his original vocation again? Was he clown or something? Some kind of entertainer? Balloon?
Some sort of entertainer,
balloon animals,
salesman or something. I don't remember.
Balloon animals. I can't remember what he did. Here we go.
I just want to introduce the idea that this storm is connected to climate change. I want to introduce that idea. I know there'll be certain viewers who will become unglued. They're throwing things at their television sets and so on.
Wow. Boy, Bill, that was so good.
Thinks highly of himself.
Bill, that was so good, man. You were brave.
But the economic effect of storms like this is huge. Huge. You cancel half the flights out of one of the world's busiest airports.
He's making a very good point here that when you have bogative models, when really it wasn't all that bad, yet you have this economic shutdown, it's very bad. Yes.
Yes. You mean like bogative models, computer models that are predicting climate change, even though they can't predict the storm?
Yeah. Hey, weather's not climate, John.
Well, it is when it's convenient.
Certainly, the eastern seaboard is a very busy area economically for airplane travel. And so when you start having these big storms and you don't have the infrastructure to deal with it, you're costing your society a lot of money. And we're in the developed world where we can handle this stuff. So I just want to introduce the idea that the strong winds that we had in Southern California, the very strong winds that will be associated with this storm in the next couple days, these could be connected to climate change. Now, this proving any one storm is connected, especially cold weather events, is quite difficult. But I just want to present
it anyway.
Yeah. Bill, I
both
love
of these
you
stories for me.
bringing that in. Thank you so much, Bill.
You are
Thank you, Bill,
so
for
brave.
bringing it in.
You are so bringing it in, Bill. You are the bravest I know. So
bringing it in. You're bringing it in. You're bringing it back down to the climate change argument.
Making it real. Keeping it real. You the man. So then I find, I'm like, I bet Bill.
By the way, I want to just stop you for a second. So there, we have to remember that the climate change thing is all based on some computer models, which they're always tweaking. Mm-hmm. And there is, and one can only imagine what the world's entire globe's atmosphere, things, the winds blowing it around and the jet stream and all the rest of it, and the globe turning and creating all these little swirling things that itself. There is the Exploratorium. I haven't been to the new one, but in San Francisco they have a demonstration. It's like it's a thing spinning. It is a crankshaft of a car, and on the crankshaft there's hanging a piston rod, but on the end of the piston rod there's another piston rod on a pivot. So there's this thing spinning around. These things are the pistons are spinning, and the things on this pistons are spinning on top of it. There's three elements going on. It's just a mess, and it's spinning and spinning. And there was the only commentary on the display is this particular demonstration. No one has ever been able to model it on a computer.
Right, exactly.
And it's just about four pistons and some things swinging around.
Do you have a link?
Meanwhile, I guess they can model the entire Earth's atmosphere.
Do you have a link for that? I'd love to read that about what you just said.
I'll have to go to the Exploratorium or call one of my friends.
No, I'm sure there's a link somewhere that talks about this.
Maybe there might be, but I don't have it offhand. I just saw it there.
And I'll move along with you that. We had the president say warmest year on record, 2014. The UK Met Office, here's what they came out and said. With the release of the 2014 HAD-CRUT-4 data by the UK Met Office and the previous release of global temperature by Berkeley Earth, NASA, NOAA, the main conclusion to be drawn from the data is that 2014 was a warm year, but not statistically distinguishable from most of the years of the past decade or so, meaning that the pause in global annual average surface temperatures continues.
That must have got headline news across the country.
The HAD-CRUT-4 data set, compiled by the Met Office and the University of East Anglia's Climatic Research Unit.
By the way.
I'm sorry?
That's the place where it all stems from, the whole climate change.
Climate change and ClimateGate.
And ClimateGate all comes out of East Anglia.
Shows last year was 0.56 degrees Celsius above the long-term 1961 to 1990 average. Nominally, this ranks 2014 as the joint warmest year in the record, tied with 2010. But the uncertainty ranges means it's not possible to definitely say which of several recent years was the warmest.
Well, that must have been the headline news everywhere. They talked about that on CNN. Didn't the Bill Nye the Climate Guy come up and tell us that so we could get our bearings here?
No. Bill Nye the Climate Guy, as I went on to find more stuff, there's a video of him. And this is, I cut off half of it because it was just boring. He's trying to talk about the science of the Inflategate or Deflategate, the footballs that were deflated for the game. And as he puts them in the refrigerator and sees if it changes temperature, or if it changes, a PSI changes with temperature. It matters not what he did there. But then he said, I'm going to take a little break and talk about climate change. And I was like, what?
While talking about football?
Yes.
We've set the refrigerator to 51 degrees Fahrenheit. That's too warm for food. It would all spoil.
Gross!
But this, my friends, is science. While we have a few minutes here, I'd like to talk about something else. Climate change is real. While we're all obsessed with Deflategate, let's keep in mind.
Did you hear what he just did?
What was that? Did you put that in there?
No. They cut to a close up of him. Yeah, I'll roll it back a little bit.
This is not edited.
No, well, it's edited in the video, but that's how the video was created. The video is, like
you're not saying stuff in the background.
No, that is Bill Nye, the science guy, and it's in the video where they cut
the climate guy.
Yeah, that's what I said. Where all of a sudden they go to him full frame, and he says,
Gross! But this, my friends, is science. While we have a few minutes here, I'd like to talk about something else. Climate change is real. While we're all obsessed with Deflategate.
So that's what he said. And of course, I ISO'd it.
Climate change is real.
And then I thought, wait a minute.
Climate change is real.
It's real. It's real. It's real.
It's the same guy. Bill Nye is Alex Jones. I figured it out. Anyway, let's continue. Let's continue with his little rant here.
Let's keep in mind that there's something about which you should give a fuck. Yes, like Tom.
He said you could give a fuck.
Really?
Yes. They bleeped it. They bleeped it. Yeah.
Brady, the world's getting hotter and hotter. And you know why? Because we humans are pumping carbon dioxide in the atmosphere every time we burn fossil fuels, when we burn gasoline in our cars, and when Tom Brady and Bill Belichick start talking for 2.5 hours at press conferences, spewing out carbon dioxide, making climate change that much worse. What should we do about this? You should vote for congressmen and senators that appreciate the threat of climate change and the rate at which the world is getting warmer, so that we can preserve the earth for humankind for generations to come. And we just got this ball out of the fridge, and it's pretty much the same. I think the Patriots probably bent the rules a little bit, a seemingly insignificant thing. But I do want to close with this. Go Seahawks!
Bingo, boom, shakalaka.
Okay, I might give you a clip of the day for that.
Oh, that's very kind of you. I was kind of hoping that would happen for sure.
Well, you got it.
Clip of the day. Climate change is real.
It's real. It's real. It's real.
Oh, man.
This is terrible, the way they propagandize the public like this.
Well, I found a new group to be looking at, popped up on MSNBC.
Well, before you do, this is about climate change still?
And the snow blizzard of Armageddon, yeah.
Okay, I want to play a clip, not right now, but...
Okay. I'll be done. This is one more clip. Do this one, and then you can flow into it.
Well, maybe. At least throw my...
What do you got? Big snow?
Yeah, put big snow.
Of course.
New England began digging out today from a blizzard that dumped as much as 3 feet of snow from Connecticut to Maine as temperatures plunged. Martha's Vineyard was hard hit, and the entire island of Nantucket lost power. With mountains of snow waiting to be shoveled, Boston Mayor Marty Walsh promised an all-out effort.
Climate change is real.
Yeah, it's real.
3 whole feet.
Yeah. This is Jeffrey Sachs of the Columbia University's Earth Institute, which I took a look at. Don't look yet because it's too funny. But here he is. So MSNBC was all over this blizzardorama being down to climate change. And they brought this guy on. This, again, at Columbia University's Earth Institute. And here's what he had to say.
Just with flight delays, the economic impact of travel and the travel cancellations,
it's so twisted that these people are saying this because it truly is because of the faulty models that this economic impact took place. It wouldn't have had to be that bad if the models were correct. But the narrative, that's like they've got a big plank in front of their head. Well, we had to shut everything down or the blizzard because of climate change. But no, it didn't really pan out that way. But ignoring that.
Seems like framing the sort of changing climate in an economic context is a pretty powerful way to get people to start caring a little bit more about the changes that are happening to the Earth.
There is a simple cost-benefit analysis that we are making a terrible deal right now in risking massive losses when the costs of getting the climate system safer would be very small indeed. It's just opposed by very strong vested interests. The cost to lives, to safety, to the economy is vast and getting larger. But we have this powerful big oil industry that has been fighting this, and they bought the Senate, unfortunately. And
at a sale, by the way, at a basement bargain price, they bought the Senate. They did.
Republicans just voted down science again last week.
They voted down science, John. This
voted down science. This asshole.
They were given the opportunity to reflect on the most basic science that human activity significantly contributes to climate change, and the Republicans voted against that 49-5 in the Republican Party, if you can believe it. But of course, they're just on the take with the big oil money.
They're just on the take.
These are some of the best clips you've ever brought in.
Yeah, it is an ironic juxtaposition, I think, that the vote that happened last week in Washington and what is happening this week on the Northeast coast.
Yeah, no, ironic that nothing happened, you moron. But listen, this Jeffrey D. Sachs. Now, this is Columbia University. This is a reputable school, is it not? Columbia University is a real school.
Yeah, it's one of the real schools.
Jeffrey D. Sachs, director of the Earth Institute, he's professor of sustainable development. But now let's look at the Leadership Council of. No, it wasn't the Leadership Council. It was the External Advisory Board. There we go. And who's right on top of the list? Bono. There you go. Bono is. Yeah.
There's our scientist that we want to. Whatever it says goes.
Vote down. And Pauchari is on the board. The top man of the IPCC. So this is not really an impartial research thing. The Earth, but it's got one of those names. George Soros is on the advisory board. This is a great outfit. And what you hear is the leader of this pack, who has meetings.
We've talked about this group before.
I think so.
Oh, I know so.
But you have to understand, this guy sits down with Soros and Bono probably once a year. I mean, I'm sure they talk. Maybe they combine it at Davos or something.
That could also be a good conference call.
Right, but then this guy's his balls are so huge, he just goes out and says, "Oh yeah, no, all Republican senators are on the take. They're crooks." That's a little, that's borderline libelous, I would think.
Pretty hard to libel a sitting
that's true.
Elected official.
That's true.
I mean, it can be done, and it has been done, but it's just saying that and he never used the words crook. No. Which is a problem word, by the way, for people out there who are budding journalists. A crook implies that they've been incarcerated, and if they haven't, you have a libel suit on your hand.
Right.
Hands. But yeah, it came close. I'd say it was pretty good. Advisory board, what a bunch of stooges those guys are.
For real.
Soros.
Oh man. Yeah. So I just thought that whole it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch.
I think the problem that we were facing, especially with our show, is that there's a thing called shoveling shit against the tide or peeing in the wind,
or carrying water to the ocean.
There's all these different kinds of futile. There's some futility involved with a show like ours having to, every time we bust something, show that this is some sort of a scam or lies or whatever.
Right.
You are fighting never-ending reiteration of the bullshit on the other side from numerous sources, keeping the public as brainwashed as possible. And the clip I have to exemplify this is this. I'll tell you what the clip is, but let me set it up. This is the AJ propagating the lie.
Mm-hmm.
This is from Al Jazeera. This is one of their correspondents talking about how he's actually talking about Saudi Arabia's relationship with the United States and then he throws in the big lie, which has been debunked by universities, by different organizations who have studied it, by news organizations, that it was Assad who sent the chemical bombs or these, chemical weapons into.
Well, they were like bottle rockets that stuck in the ground.
There was a bunch of stuff that it was obviously wasn't. It wasn't the kind of rocket that could be sent from where they would have these things sent from. Also, they weren't made. They looked at the metal and all the rest. It was bull crap. It was the rebels themselves who were bombing their own people and actually bombing a lot of a bunch of Assad people in Syria. We're talking about, and they were killing them. And then it was played by the media as Assad killing his own soldiers. What a evil person.
Compelled because the Saudis were very upset with the Obama administration's policy in the region. First of all, the secret talks that led up to the so-called P5+1 nuclear talks over Iran's program, now underway in a more or less public way. The situation in ISIL, with ISIL, the president trying to push forward now Saudi planes flying in the American-led coalition. But more importantly, at that time, Saudi Arabia is very much their disappointment with President Obama from backing away from the red line, which he himself drew after Bashar al-Assad, the president of Syria, had deployed those chemical weapons, killing innocent civilians, the president backing away, deferring to Congress. Nothing ever came to it. The chemical weapons program was ostensibly destroyed under the auspices of Russia. Remember that that deal was struck with Russia. But the Saudis were...
So this is, again, propagating a lie that Assad was using these chemical weapons when there's no evidence of it at all, when studied by experts, and everybody knows this is true now. It's bullcrap. This whole thing was bullcrap, and the president did back off because apparently somebody in the government said this is bullshit. You better defer to Congress, which he did, and got out of there before he had to start bombing Syria. Just they were going to do that, if you recall, and a whole bunch of people like McCain and these others were encouraging that, and we didn't do it. And but you can't. But we'll be fighting this forever. Obviously, this goes right back to the old bull crap that it was Assad who sent these missiles when it wasn't. Right. Well, and this is the case with the climate change thing. Where every time some new information comes out that says, well, maybe it's not the case, boom, they just keep repeating the lie and going never ending, making stuff up.
The one that's that's so obvious right now is this 2014 being the hottest year on record. And the president said that in the State of the Union, and the people who collect the data themselves are saying, well, there's a probability, which isn't even 50%. It's crazy.
So you can't.
But they just keep saying it. They just keep saying it. They keep on
saying it over and over again. I want to tell people that listen to this show that you have to keep listening to this show, because I think it helps keep you immune, or at least aware, to the point where you don't fall lockstep into this kind of robotic belief that is propagated by people with vested interests. I mean, we know that the carbon tax folks, they want to just gouge the public with carbon taxes. It's all about carbon taxes. It's not about climate change. We've pointed out before a million times, and it gets pointed out once in a while, that cap and trade doesn't do anything. But that's what they were pushing. Cap and trade, that's not solving the climate. If you were sincere, if this was actual science and they could prove it, which they can't because it's models, they would just cap.
Yeah. I got a report which kind of ties into this, which I thought was funny, from California, but it's going to be a number of states. Now that the oil prices are so low, and we're paying I saw 174.
Nice.
In Texas. That's pretty nice. So this is a problem. It is a major source of revenue for states. The tax, which is a part of, gasoline tax. And California is, and this crops up from time to time, they are now considering a so-called mileage tax, which, and this is, I have to kind of grin about this. This is pissing off people who thought that they were following the good lead from their government by getting electric cars and hybrid cars and guess what? You're getting screwed.
Stan Mack climbs in the hybrid car he bought last year, a purchase made because of the 300 miles he racks up a week.
It absolutely is to save gas, yes.
It may save gas, but it may not save him much money if he has to pay by the mile. The current state tax is 36 cents per gallon, but California is thinking of scrapping that and instead charging a mileage tax. A test program wouldn't start until 2017. Frequent drivers may end up paying more.
I think I have to do the calculation to see, but it doesn't sound good.
Revenue from the state gas tax is used to maintain state highways and bridges. The state says that revenue has been dropping quickly due to more fuel-efficient cars on the road. In 2003, revenue reached $2.87 billion. In 2013, it was $2.62 billion. Governor Brown says the state has a $59 million backlog on highway maintenance, but many drivers don't want the cost to fall on them, especially drivers of electric vehicles.
Electric is the wave of the future, and if we start penalizing those people now, what we should be doing is taxing the people who are really, as I say, harming the earth by non-sustainable fuel.
California isn't alone in exploring the possibility of a mileage tax. Colorado and Washington State are also considering it, and Oregon, they're actually beginning their test program this year.
So I find this rather amusing that a lot of people really bought into the electric vehicle, hybrid vehicle, and I dislike them for a number of reasons, specifically the batteries, which are just a disaster for the earth, and you have to get rid of them.
And just to interrupt you for a split second on this thinking, the batteries, the lithium ion, and more importantly, the nickel metal hydride, the nickel mining, which takes place mostly in Canada, is a huge environmental disaster.
Big problem.
Everybody's all in on, the car. They're all upset about everything, and they always cite the environment, but they always turn a blind eye to the mining operations that involve making these batteries. And then the batteries, what do they do with them after they're spent, which they do get spent?
Yep.
It's horrible.
And so I'm smiling because people really bought into this. And now, wait a minute, we're getting screwed now. Yeah, hello. And how are we going to measure this mileage tax? GPS?
Well, that's the easy part.
GPS? Are we going to be tracking people?
No. It would be the black boxes.
Oh, does it make any difference? It's a tracking system. You need to then have the Internal Revenue Service.
Most new cars have the tracking system already. And I think all the hybrids do.
Really?
So you can go and take your car to a garage or whatever, and they can plug in.
They have the ODC2 interface, whatever, to get all the data. But does that also
get all the data? So what will happen is just like the.
But how are they going to? That has to be connected. So they'll have to send my information.
No, it's already set up. It's already done.
Oh, damn it!
When you go in for your yearly smog check. I mean, that's just one step away from, because they already turn in the data to the state. It's all on the computer. They give you the smog check. It goes into the computer right there on the spot, gets sent to Sacramento.
John, it's the Internet of Things.
It is. And it gets sent to Sacramento, and it gets put in, it goes on your record that you're okay or you're not okay.
Yeah.
And so all that has to change. Is that same thing has to happen for every car every year. Because they make you do it every year in one way or another. It's in California. And you have to go in, and then they plug in. Again, it'll be a smog check. But at the same time, they see how many miles you've done in your car. That goes to Sacramento, and that gets billed as a tax.
Right.
And so when you re-register your car, you have to, instead of being $100, it might be $250, $150 in tax.
Well, we're not going to have that.
It's done. It's a done deal.
I tell you, this idea, this is not going to happen in Texas. I can guarantee you that. That will not happen. And although kind of jumping ahead, and it's tech news, I just want to do it right now because we got an email from producer Joey about the artificial engine sounds in cars.
Yeah.
He said, always wanted to contribute to the show, but my world of automotive doesn't come up on the show very much. Hope he's got some useful info for you, and feel free if you have more questions. I worked in the automotive industry for the past 10 years. I build specialty cars for Hyundai and Ford, and have done work for Chevrolet and various other OEMs and aftermarket brands. What's an OEM? Other engineering?
No, original equipment manufacturer.
Right. The issue of OEMs pumping sound into the car has nothing to do with the engine not making that sound anymore. The issue actually is modern cars are packed full of so much sound-deadening shit and crap, which I think is an actual automotive term they use in Detroit. Hey, Pete, got any more of that shit and crap?
You know, the funny thing is that material that they use, a lot of it they put between the, when they hook things together, having worked in these factories, it's called monkey shit.
There you go. Some shit and crap to make the experience peaceful on the inside. You just can't hear shit. He's saying these words. It's a pretty common theme now among performance cars. Porsche, BMW, Ford. By the way, which one does not belong in that list? Porsche, BMW, Ford are all doing this. It's actually not even sophisticated. I have one I pulled off a 2013 Ford Mustang. I can send if you want to check it out. Yes. Actually, there's one, he has a link to a Car and Driver article. So I would say about 90% of an engine sound these days is actually formulated in the headers through the exhaust. Perfect example is if you ever hear a modified Subaru driving around Austin, it has very distinct, yeah, it's true. It has a very distinct sound because the car features unequal length headers.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I actually watched the video and I'll put this in the show notes so people can take a look at it. So this is a common occurrence.
Well, a friend of mine, and this is over 10 years ago, who I've known for a long time, was an audio engineer. Mm-hmm. He was working at Harman International, and they were developing this. I think this is where the technology comes from. And he told me that they could put, they were originally being done to replace mufflers so you can maintain your horsepower. Mm-hmm. But the mufflers would have sound canceling data.
Right.
And speakers that would do the sound canceling. So, which is like any other sound canceling.
Like noise canceling, you mean? Like putting something out of phase and
the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, noise canceling. So they use noise canceling. So the car would have really no muffler, but it'd be totally silent. And then he said that they could take it one step further and make the car sound like anything. You could make it sound like a Ferrari. You can make it sound like an old Chevy or anything you wanted.
Right.
And so you could actually have this product never came out, obviously, but you could literally, and literally is the word, have a switch. Then you could just click,
just to make a different sound. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Nice. Well, I'm walking these days since I'm in the middle of Austin.
Whatever the case, my old 25-year-old Lexus, which has a beautiful sounding engine because it's an 8 with lots of valves.
Right.
But the car it's just totally quiet. I can barely hear the engine inside.
Over the rattling, you mean, of the stuff on the inside?
There's really no rattling in this thing.
Okay.
Well, that's just stuff bouncing around the back.
That's your archive. It's your archive.
The trunk.
John has stuff in his car and this Lexus is from 90 what?
92 or 93, maybe 93.
Yeah.
Whatever the case, it makes a nice noise outside, but it was just from the muffled sounds.
It is.
This is pre this technology. They don't. Yeah. This is only recent what he's talking about. This is only
your Lexus. Yeah, it may make a nice sound, but it's not a chick magnet, John. It's really, really not.
It'd be okay if it didn't have that one thin tire,
especially with us in it. Women are going like, wow, look at those gay guys.
I would see that. Yeah. I would say that.
Sugar daddy. Look, he's got a sugar daddy.
I don't know what. The only chick magnet car would be a Ferrari, and I can't afford it.
Well, I briefly considered getting a yellow Lamborghini with a midget wearing a bikini to drive me around town. I thought that would kind of declare my independence.
You may be too tall for a Lambo.
That's why I have to have a midget with a bikini driving, because I can't drive. I am too tall. Lambo. Yeah, a Lambo.
Instead of a Lambo.
Lambo. Yes, my Lambo.
Just get yourself a big Jeep.
No, I don't need a car. I don't need a car. I'm in the middle of town. I walk to everything.
Yeah. Is there a grocery store nearby?
It's multiple.
Huh.
Yeah. Everything's nearby. Everything. It's kind of crazy right now in Austin. I had dinner last night, drinks and dinner with Eric, the constitutional lawyer. At this new place, Fix, F-I-X-E.
Yeah, F-I-X. He's very famous amongst foodies all the country, the whole country.
The place is out of control. I mean, this thing just they opened and then it's been full. But what's happening right now is the Texas legislature is in session. And people don't understand this when they don't know about Texas or legislature. It's compared to Washington. The Texas legislature really is only in session for, I think, 4 or 5 months. And actually, I looked it up on the Wiki Book of Knowledge thing. The Texas legislature meets in regular session on the second Tuesday in January of each odd-numbered year. And the Constitution of Texas limits the regular session to 140 calendar days. You know, and they get paid like nothing, like $35 a day or something. And so the town right now is just riddled with lobbyists. And it's really quite interesting.
Oh, they must go to that restaurant like crazy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so Eric, the constitutional lawyer, he knows a lot of these people. It's just the whole night. Like, hey, Eric. Eh. And, you know, these people are lobbying for hotel, for gas and oil companies. And it's just the talks that are going on. It's really interesting. And this is the place to
be. Did you hand out any no agenda
CDs and stickers?
Stickers? You're not doing your job.
Oh, man. Come on. I'm not doing my job. Yeah, I am.
When's the last time you handed out a no agenda CD?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
But, you know, I am the business card today. Yeah.
That's no good. You need the CD.
Usually, here's after you know, I've had a little conversation with somebody. Here's what I say: "You just met Adam Curry. Google me."
Yeah. No, you don't.
Google me. You just met Adam Curry. Google me.
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyway, so the dinner was good, I guess.
Yeah, we had. Yes, these people make food just into a luxury. It's so nice. But what's even better is because I was there on one of the 2 or 3 preview nights, I just happened to walk in, and you know, the owners. You know, when you're an owner, you always want to get your early adopters. You want to get them in and want to make them feel comfortable.
You went regulars.
I'm a regular now, but
yeah, that's a big deal to be a regular.
But he makes me look good. You know, I'll walk in like, "Hey, Adam, how you doing?" And he just just kicks people off at the bar. Kneecaps him. Here you go, Adam. You can sit here.
All right.
I don't know why I brought that up.
I don't know where you were going.
I didn't know where I was going either. I'm sorry.
You just wanted to brag about this restaurant.
It was something.
And you're a regular.
There you go. I'm a regular.
Here's the here's a little report. Mm-hmm. This is a standalone little clip. The new Feinstein is called.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. The chat room just had a better line. You just met Adam Curry. You can find me at SeanHannity.com.
And make it look like you're a writer there. That would actually lessen the impact.
All right, I'm sorry. Onward.
Now, this is the new Feinstein. This is the guy. A guy took over because it's now, you know, the Republicans took over the Senate, so all the committees are now run by Republicans. That's the real only reason you want mostly one party or the other.
Right.
And so Feinstein's off the Senate Committee on Intelligence, and this new guy's in. And just by this clip alone, you'll see where this is headed.
The new Republican chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee has asked the Obama administration to return all copies of the Senate's landmark report on CIA torture. Senator Richard Burr has indicated he will return a secret CIA internal report known as the Panetta Review, which found the agency inflated the importance of information gained through torture.
Oh, well. This is what we've been looking to see.
Let's have this report's back.
Yeah.
And her head is gone.
Nice.
So this guy's a douchebag.
Hell yeah.
Burr is his name.
Burr. There's a lot of famous Burrs throughout history, I think, as Burrs go. Burrs.
Let's see what else we got.
Well, I do have a couple things I would like to get into. We had not one, but 2 new videos come out from ISIS. And I've noticed an anomaly. Now, you know, Brian the Gay Crusader gets these videos, I think, where the place he works, or somehow he has a subscription, because you can't find these videos anywhere. The news doesn't show them. And again, these last 2 have been the Japanese Goto holding up a picture of something, you know, a guy whose head is on his chopped off head, looks like it's on his body. It's all out of size, out of proportion, whatever. Then you can only get it from the Site Intelligence Group. And the mainstream news doesn't show it. It's very hard to find. It gets taken down by YouTube and other videos. Even LiveLeak takes it down. And so I just wanted to play the audio of the second message. No, actually, it doesn't even matter. The third message, which came out yesterday. Now they wanted, instead of $100 million, now they changed their mind and they wanted a prisoner exchange. Which would involve a Jordanian pilot, and Jordan is now, we got to talk about it. Let's see if we can work this out, and maybe we can make something happen. And unbelievably, going from $200 million to $100 million to a hostage release, now ISIL, whatever, IS, has given a 24-hour stay of execution, which should be up about now. But here's the most recent video. It was just a video with a still frame. And almost like just an audio voiceover from the Japanese man Goto.
I'm Kenji Goto Jogo. This is a voice message I've been told to send to you. If Sajida al-Rishawi is not ready for exchange for my life at the Turkish border by Thursday sunset 29th of January, Mosul time, the Jordanian pilot Muaz al-Kasasba will be killed immediately.
And that is the entire message. Now,
play this clip, ISIS hostage, and let's see if it's the same clip, because I'm not sure that it is.
That may be, you may have a clip from before this one.
We've been waiting for 35 days to get a statement or a decision from the Jordanian government in Muaz's case. We've been waiting for any word from the Jordanian government.
The Jordanian government said nothing today about a Japanese hostage. Journalist Kenji Goto, he spoke in an Islamic State message yesterday.
I only have 24 hours left to live.
Yeah, so that is from the second. If you want, I can play it. I have the whole message. Is about.
No, that's okay. If he only has 24 hours to live, and then we had another message 24 hours later.
Yes,
saying from a dead man. I don't get it.
So he's not dead. But here's what was interesting. So Brian keeps diligently sending me the original videos. I put them in the show notes, and then I said, Brian, you get these direct. These are directly from Site Intelligence. And whether he get down, I'm not sure. I don't care how he gets them.
He may have joined you can. I think you can register.
As I said, I believe where he works during the day, he may have an account.
Oh, okay, it could be.
So these are the original MP4 files, which by itself I think is already interesting, because if you're ISIL, IS. And you create this video, I presume that you then upload it to YouTube and a number of other places. And the original isn't, you don't typically stick that anywhere.
And what's shocking to me is that they're using MP4 instead of OGG Vorbis.
Well, but here, even more shocking, here are the file names. And these come directly from the Site Intelligence Group, who I have accused without any real proof, but just call it Spidey sense, that they are just creating these, and that something went horribly wrong with their production process. That's why we haven't had any video. is-goto-second-message_dvd.mp4. And then the most recent one is is-goto-third-message_dvd.mp4. These file names and the suffixes, particularly the _DVD, represent an export from Final Cut Pro at DVD quality. That is, and then naming this file in this manner, which is consistent with everything I can see in the file itself. This is the original file name, as far as I can tell, with my low grade forensics.
Oh, that's interesting.
This is not made by some dude in a hut somewhere. This is made by a professional video editor who is using Final Cut Pro and is exporting, typing in the title in English, and not just third 3RD. And this is an Anglo person who was exporting these from. It's an export. It's an export from a timeline. I've done enough of these to at least presume that I am very close to how this is happening. I've done a lot of video editing, a lot of exporting. This is how you export it, and it appends these, the quality And as you pointed out, MP4. This is an Apple. I'm pretty sure this would be an Apple product. And, I don't know. I didn't know that they use a lot of Macs over there in terrorist land. Let me just open up the actual video. Let me see.
I wonder if there's any other kind of watermarks. If these are original right out of the machine, I think there's a lot of extra information in the headers or someplace.
There may be. So I have these uploaded. They'll be in the show notes. The original files as I've received them, so people can perform whatever forensics they want to or can do. It just seems bizarre to me that this is how these file names are. And also, let's be honest. I mean, the guy's talking in English. The subtitles are English and Arabic. Which I'd love to know what the subtitles are really saying. Nothing in Japanese. The Japanese, very poor English speakers. So all of this, and particularly with an extra 24, we got some extra time. What is this? What kind of negotiation are you running? If you say, we're going to kill this guy in 24 hours, make him say it on the tape. I only have 24 hours to live. And then it's like, we'll cut you a little slack. For what? No, this makes no sense. You heard maybe in this clip, excuse me, Mosul time.
Get some water, man.
Yeah. He said Mosul time. Right? Mosul time. That would be Mosul. Mosul in Iraq, which I presume that's where he is, brought me to this interesting clip from our spokeshole from the Pentagon, the Schwacken Noses guy, Rear Admiral Kirby.
Yeah, Kirby.
And I can't. I'm like listening to what he's saying. He says something, and he says, but, I can't really jump ahead of the gun and let anything know what's going on, and it's in regard to Mosul.
Well, we've said before, Mosul's key terrain. There's no question about that. Mosul remains in ISIL hands. We know that. And I think everybody's mindful that eventually there's going to have to be a fight for Mosul. We know that. When? I don't think you can predict that right now. But it is fair to say, and I want to be careful here that I don't, divulge planning efforts before they are ripe to talk about. But obviously, we're working closely with the Iraqi security forces on helping them better understand the challenges with respect to any kind of campaign in Mosul, and making sure, and this is part of the train, advise, and assist mission, to making sure that they are as battlefield competent as possible.
Do you think anything's going to happen in Mosul, John? That was very unclear to me.
I'm guessing yes.
And so to have this, Mosul, all of a sudden Mosul. Why Mosul from IS? Why Mosul from Kirby? Just all of a sudden just say, it's obvious we're going to have a showdown in Mosul, but I don't want to jump the gun or anything. Too much Mosul talk. Too much. Very strange. Now.
Well, that's just a heads up for people that know how to listen to this stuff.
Heads up. Now, finally, someone's taken my advice. I'm sad to say that it's James Kirchick, because I think he's a douche. James Kirchick works for the Foreign Policy Initiative. Just a reminder, he's the guy that set up the RT girl to quit on air. You recall?
Oh, yeah.
And so he says...
Liz Wall.
So he said he's a journalist, but really he works for FPI as a right-wing, I think, bunch of crazies, really.
We were talking about Liz Wall over dinner and how she was suckered into quitting, and now she can't get work.
No, she got screwed. She got totally screwed.
She got totally screwed with some promises from either, this
she was going to be working at CNN or somewhere else. Yeah.
Now you will never hear from her again, and I'll tell you why, because you can't do what she did to anybody.
No, you never work again.
You never work again because you can't be trusted ever.
No.
She was a dummy.
So James Kirchick, as you also recall, is the guy who went on a rampage about Putin hating gays.
Putin!
And he was on RT and like, Putin, he's a horrible man. He hates the gays. And man, I should have clipped that. I heard last night or 2 nights ago on NPR that another one of those lies Now transsexuals can't even have a driver's license in Russia. It's just so unchecked, It's so unchecked that people are just spouting this crap. I'm like, But anyway, so James Kirchick finally takes my advice. If you want to really draw people in, if you want to get them excited about degrading and ultimately destroying ISIL, you got to kill a few homos. Just to put it that way. Have I not been consistent in my message? You got to get the gays involved.
You believe you have a thesis.
A thesis, yes. That
once the gays are brought into a political debate,
people get all excited.
They start to focus on it more than they would otherwise.
Correct. They get motivated because it hits a whole bunch of buttons. I believe James Kirchick is gay, but he was on I think it was a radio show, and I cut. It was very long. It was pretty much the same topic. I just cut it down to what I think is the pertinent information for our show.
According to the reports, and these were images that were posted on ISIS Twitter and social media accounts.
So right there, I have to stop and say that has nothing to do with journalism. And this is now taken for fact. Oh, it was on an ISIS Twitter account. Oh, obviously it must be true. Which is just crazy that we've gotten to this point. That people, who's behind it? Why isn't that account closed? Could it be just someone else?
And of course, we should remember the fake lesbian that lived in London and claimed she was in Syria or something. It was a guy, I think. And the other phony baloney accounts that are set up by the State Department.
Well, here you go. This is a while back.
I have this group of young, techno experts.
That's the whole song. I'm sorry. I should play that at the end of the show. Yeah, techno experts is what she called them. Techno experts who were using social media. It could be our own people doing this. So fine. But now we're all in, and there's no questioning. Oh, clearly if it was posted on some kind of ISIS social media account, it's true.
There were two men who were thrown off of buildings for, quote unquote, the crime of the people of Lot, which is a reference to Sodom and Gomorrah, and the people of Lot who were found guilty by God of committing sodomy. So apparently these two men were executed for the crime of homosexuality, and they're very harrowing photos. They're you should warn your listeners before they look at them what they are about to see.
And again, all we really have is some messages posted on a Twitter account with photos saying, we threw these guys off the building because they were gay. We don't know if they were really gay. We don't know any of that.
It's not particularly surprising. It's not news, really, that Islamists are killing gay people. I think it's not so often that you see it so disturbingly and so visually. You've heard stories, obviously, about these sorts of punishments being meted out, but you don't often see videos or photos of it. And this was a rare instance of actually seeing it with one's eyes. And I think that's why it's become such a big, news story on the internet.
Oh, really? Well, you're trying to make it a big news story, perhaps.
And I think that you've seen now over the past couple of years, the gay rights movement, both domestically in the United States and around the world, has had a lot of successes in convincing people of its righteousness, of its cause. Mm-hmm. And here you have people on the other side of this debate.
I love that. He's such a robot that he throws out a non sequitur talking point. Now you have these people on the other side of the debate. I'm sorry, is that the killing gays debate that I missed? Was that some kind of monk debate that I missed?
I don't know what debate he's talking about. He just uses the word randomly.
Yeah, because he's a dickhead.
Movement, both domestically in the United States and around the world, has had a lot of successes in convincing people of its righteousness, of its cause. And here you have people on the other side of this debate who, we're not talking about disagreement over something like gay marriage or gays in the military. Those are issues that I think people of goodwill here in this country, here in the United States, can disagree over and be civil and respect one another. We're talking about barbarians and savages, people who murder, people who murder people, who would murder other people simply because of who they are, and they are just as proud of doing this, of killing people, of killing homosexuals simply because of their nature. They are just as proud of that as gay people are of their own identities. And it's almost like they're spitting in the face of Western civilization. They're saying, look, you have gay marriage and you accept, gay people and gay couples and gay families. Well, you know what? This is what we do to
You know what?
We throw them off the buildings.
Yeah.
We need to kill them.
What?
No, you know what?
You know what? Yeah, you know what?
We need to kill them.
Yes, you know what? We need to kill them. So James Kirchick is trying. He's giving a yeoman's try there.
What show was that?
Oh, I don't know. Some radio show. I could look it up. I don't know.
This is not going anywhere. The way he's doing it, he stinks.
Well, no, he
needs to kill dogs too. They got to bring dogs into it.
But he is in the FBI, and if he represents their thinking, then it's very possible we'll see more of this. It's what works because it hits all the buttons. Just because they're different. They're killing people because they're different or what they believe. Yeah, that's what war is all about.
That would be pervasive. That thesis, it may be known to him because he's seen it work, but I don't know that the agency as a whole would even get it. I don't know. Why would anyone give a shit? I'm not convinced of this. I think you're right about him specifically, but I'm not sure that it's a reflection of the agency as a whole.
Agency?
Is it FBI?
No. FPPP. Foreign Policy Initiative.
Policy
think tank. It's a think tank.
Those I don't. But that's. Oh, I'm sorry. What was it? I was confused. Obviously. Yeah. So,
This is a very. It's the FBI.
Big time think tank.
Yeah, they got Liz Wall to resign. They are the Putin hates gays. Putin hates dogs. Putin hates Putins.
Well, maybe.
So they're trying.
I'll go back on that then. Never mind.
They're trying. And then the final thing I have in this caliphate department is Geert Wilders being, I think he was, this is an interview by, this may be the Christian Broadcast Network or something, which fits. And Wilders is getting a lot of play in the Netherlands, of course. A lot of people, if not publicly, certainly privately saying, oh man, we should have listened to him. Now it's all messed up. But now the crazy Muslim extremists, they're all going crazy. They're all going to kill us. But just waiting for the other shoe to drop. So he's getting interviews. And his English has improved dramatically, I'll say.
How can the truth be something you are not allowed to say? I mean, look what is happening today in the Islamic State in Syria and Iraq. I mean, they are copying the life of Muhammad. As you know, Muhammad, 1400 years ago, when he went from Mecca to Medina, he did exactly the things that the Muslims from the Islamic State are doing today. They are beheading people, Americans, UK citizens, according to what is written down in the Quran, Surah 47, verse 4. Whenever you meet the unbelievers, smite their necks until you have a bloodbath among them. They are living according to the rules of Sharia law, of the life of Muhammad, the Hadith, of the Quran. And it's not pretty. They have declared war on us, on the United States, on Canada, on Holland, on Europe. And we should see it as a war. How unfortunate it is. They declared war on us. So to speak the truth is something as a duty for me to do and show people what the real face of Islam is. And let me tell you that all those political leaders around the world, my own Prime Minister, Mr. Rutte, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Mr. Cameron, but also your own president, I have to say, Mr. Obama, is really fooling the people by saying after every atrocity, after every beheading, that it has nothing to do with Islam. It is Islam. It's the core business of Islam. Woo! And we should be able to get rid of the political correctness and see it for what it is. And that's a violent, dangerous ideology that we are importing in our free societies. So we have to stand up and fight against it. And well, I see it as a mission. It's my personal mission. And whether you're a judge, a court, a Muslim who wants to threaten me, or a politician from another party, I would rather die than not be able to speak freely.
All right, it seems to be a trend right now. Because I have a report from, of all places, the PBS NewsHour, which is also an anti-Muslim screed. that showed up around the same time. And then this is worth listening to. And this is out of the UK.
British. Chowdhury preaches to other native-born UK Muslims that there's nothing special about being British.
Yeah. People believe being British can be loving the Queen, fish and chips, standing in queues. I believe that having a passport is a mere travel document. If you were born somewhere, it does not mean that you need to have allegiance to that particular place. My allegiance is to what I believe.
That sort of thinking upsets Bernice Drew, who owns the Turner Old Star pub in the London district of Wapping. She says the Muslim communities here, most of South Asian descent, aren't like earlier waves of immigrants Britain has assimilated from its former colonies, including India.
They're totally different to anybody that we've ever had come here before. They are very, very strong in their religion, and they don't tend to integrate as others have before them. So you have a kind of divide, which is not a good thing. So they come here and they keep 100% their way, their original ways. Don't assimilate into our way at all.
Do you think the Muslims here are a threat to the British way of life?
We feel in certain areas of London that we're losing our culture, and it's being replaced with theirs.
That sense of distance seems to be shared by many of Britain's nearly 3 million Muslims as well. Though many mix with the general population, a great many others choose to live and work in self-segregated communities around the country. At his merchant stall in Whitechapel in London's East End, Pakistani immigrant Javed Iqbal denounced this month's Paris terror attacks, but he also criticized European culture for allowing disrespect to the Prophet Muhammad.
There should be a limit. You cannot just keep provoking. We don't use the word N for some people because it's insulting.
Yeah, but we don't chop your head off for using it. I love the fish and chips and standing in the queue. That's pretty much, that sums up my experience.
That's British culture, standing in the queue.
And bohica is another one of their favorites. Bend over, here it comes again. Yeah, this is exactly the problem. And the happiest place on earth, which we all know is because of the free healthcare happy pills, Denmark, once again voted happiest people on earth, announced they're spending $9 million on de-radicalization programs. Aren't the Muslims happy there?
There's very few there. They'd never really open the gates.
Oh, I wouldn't say there's very few.
Well, not as compared to Sweden.
I wouldn't know the exact numbers, but I think all of Scandinavia.
There's a lot of kvetching back and forth between Denmark and Sweden over the huge Muslim population that are down in Malmo.
Right.
Well, this is.
I don't know where all this is supposed to go, but it's
supposed to roust the Muslims or something. I'm not absolutely sure. Now, this woman in the pub moaning and groaning.
Hey, get some water, will you?
Moaning and groaning. She says, "Oh, it wasn't like the old, when the Indians and Pakistanis came in. They assimilated. I don't, when any foreign culture makes an exodus to some other area, they never assimilate right away. It takes a number of generations before they do. Well, the Germans in the United States, they're all part of the Bund for a long time.
I need to say,
the Irish.
So I was in Europe, in the Netherlands, when the Turks came in. Actually, it was the Surinamers. These are from Dutch colonies, but then the Turks came in, and the Turks, one generation. Not a number of generations, and they are completely, fully integrated in the Netherlands. But the Moroccans, which are the Muslims that the Netherlands is dealing with, there is something different. I believe part of it has to do with the EU, and mainly of course, the reason for this is Europe is dying. It needs new people. It needs people to come in with babies who are going to support this current class. When we need people to work, otherwise there'll be no money to go around. Particularly when so many services are centralized and free. And so the incentive was come to Holland, get free money to not so you won't live on the street, and the more children you have, you get money for each child, and everything is free. And if you believe in the theories on the certainly what I've received from my Jewish handlers in Los Angeles, if you read Milestones and all of these books about Sharia and the bloodless jihad, it is not unthinkable that there was some initiative to say, hey, why don't you just go in there and sit in, hang out for a little while, and then we'll slowly get into government, which has happened. Certainly, and I know that for sure in the Netherlands, local government. The mayor of Rotterdam is Muslim. Although he said, hey, if you're going to go to Syria, you should pack your bags and F off. You're going to go fight for him. But, it is a complete integration into countries that are not traditional immigration countries. America, very traditional immigration country. We know how to do this, which is why it works much better for us, I think. We also don't take, I think, didn't we talk about in the last show? If any,
we don't take credit cards.
Yeah, but Christina walks down the street in Rotterdam, and there's a Moroccan guy standing on the corner. Hey, baby, hey, baby, hey, baby. And if she doesn't recognize him, you slut, you whore, you cunt. Like in the span of 30 seconds. And people just walk by like, oh, it's just the shitty Moroccans, I just don't see that happening in America. I see Americans go, yo, excuse me, son, what'd you just say? Why don't I just beat you to a pulp? We don't talk that way here. Don't you think?
Well, probably.
Yeah, we just won't have it. You want to, we have our own problems.
The millennial generation, though, let's start with one of our previous theses and discussions. The new millennial generation, non-confrontational, do put up with that crap. They won't tell somebody who's cutting in line, and we've discussed this on the show.
Yeah,
that's no,
that's true.
It's been verified that they won't say anything to someone cutting in line. They don't know how to do it.
Yeah, that's also
because there's no adult examples around, or they're
tracing that back is because, and I would, although my daughter doesn't take crap, I don't think. We're a shitty generation. We've taught our kids to be wussies, and don't worry, you'll win no matter what.
Well, that's the clip that we have. Why don't you play that clip?
Which clip is this?
This is we'll gather around. There's no competition. There's no winning. There's no winning. This has been drummed into the public from the liberals, I would say. It's definitely not a conservative thing. And political correctness is taking its rooted.
It's toll.
Oh, there's no winning. We don't like to foster a competitive atmosphere, but we laugh a lot. Now everyone hug and share a secret.
And that's the one you're referring to.
And that is it.
That is it. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. We're screwed.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda. In the morning.
We do have a few people to thank for shows.
Very few.
691, but we do want to thank them.
Yes.
Ken Gross from Felton, Pennsylvania, 129.58, and he did send a note in, and there it is, right at the top of the pile.
In the new system. I'm so impressed.
And it's not much to it, so I'll read it. It says simply, in honor of my birthday, which we have him on the list, I believe. Do we?
Yeah, we do.
He gave 129.58 because he was born on 129.58. Get it?
Nice. What would that make him?
I don't know. You figure it out.
58. Yeah. Okay.
12. I don't know. 50 something.
We are so.
Well, I say 4. It says 5.
2015. Isn't it? You just do 2000?
Yeah. If this is his birthday, then it'd be 2015. So it'd be. So you take using a new math. 58 and 2008 would be 50 years, and then you add 6 years to that. He's 56. It's not that hard.
56. All right, perfect. Is that Common Core what you just used?
Common Core that's what I did.
Perfect.
Daniel Borowski, Borowski in Spokane Valley, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, look at this! Right at the top of the pile. He's the guy who writes his little notes from the United Federation of Planets.
Oh yeah, nice.
Starfleet Command stationary.
Perfect.
I'm going to read this. I can't get enough of No Agenda, so here's something to help keep more coming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am working my way through the archives of previous shows, which we have to discuss that aspect, but it only goes back about a year, which is all you need to go back, believe me. We'll bring you up to speed on anything older. I will probably have listened to the whole archive by summer. Can you expand the archive to include more shows? It's costing us terabytes a month already. But it comes and goes. I'll let you know.
There is a BitTorrent archive, a BitTorrentSync archive somewhere of everything.
Don Borowski, Spokane Valley, Washington, which I didn't know of. WAOMI. This is an O, not a 0.
Mm-hmm.
John got my call sign wrong. Last donation.
Oh no.
So it's WAO. Oh, he has a vanity. WOMI. Washington OMI. I don't know. Not
sure. So instead of a 0 it was an Oscar. I got you. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Nice.
So it's Washington Attack, Oscar, Michigan, Indiana.
Okay.
Hennessy Curon, $101 flat. He's cycling in Singapore. Interesting. Hennessy, that's what I said. Sir Mark Cullen in
Cullen. Sir Mark Cullen
in Weidenes, Netherlands. Knight and former founder-producer of the stream. It's killing me to hear so many listeners are not only taking and don't remember to give. This show is our beacon of sanity in a world of media bullshit. You keep me healthy on a steady diet of fun deconstruction. Others should donate.
Yes. Well, time for a jingle.
Chad,
hold on. He said it. Time for a jingle.
If you wake up with the blues, trying to fill your day with news, there's one thing you must remember. No agenda in the morning. For a healthy, balanced news diet, try noagendashow.com.
Hey, Pen Soroso, why don't you fuck off?
I take it that's some guy in the chat.
Yeah, whenever we do a donation segment and then someone in the chat room goes, time for a smoke break. Oh, you're an asshole.
Well, I don't know why he listens to the show.
I know. Go away. Just go away.
Sir Chad Biederman in Round Lake, Illinois, $100. Oh, and look at this. Right at the top
of the pile.
Now I don't need to read the whole note but he actually gave us a typewritten note, which I'm actually going to keep.
I think that is also extremely. And now, is it a Selectric or do you think it's a Corona?
No, this is a clunker.
Nice, very nice.
An old hand punched one because it's definitely not a Selectric. It's got that look of old. I decided to go old school with this letter and use a typewriter, a manual typewriter.
Very nice.
And this is his first mistake. I can't resist happy, playful puppies, which is the puppy that's jumping. So it's spelled like this: ICAN8T.
Okay.
Hey, where's the whiteout? Hey, honey, where's the whiteout? And he says, you've been having a tough couple of weeks with donations, so I thought he'd send you $100.
Thank you.
Anyway, I'm keeping that one. That's a keeper.
That's good.
Anybody who writes in a old typewritten letter and signs it, it will now be kept.
Yeah, I encourage that behavior as well.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And then that followed up with another, the McKiernan family, the whole family in Roanoke, Virginia, and they sent a Christmas card. They meant to send this during Christmas, but they didn't. And this Katie wrote the note. Uh-huh. She's the mom.
Yes.
And this was she went on about how we had named our chickens Putin and Koch brothers.
Well, hold on a second. Let's call them.
Putin, Koch brothers.
There you
go. Our favorite recent deconstruction was regarding the Russian something, something that was described as denying LBGT people. Oh,
the law.
Right, your thing about the trans.
Yeah, that it was,
bull crap.
Bull crap. Thank you.
Anyway, we want to thank the family.
Oh, that's nice.
The McKiernan family. Maybe they all listen to the show. I know she's.
It could be, this is old culture. We'd all sit around the wireless after dinner.
Yeah, and listen as a family.
Yeah, as a family, exactly.
Eric Schmidt in Frankfurt, Deutschland. The douchebag check guy got to me, too. High time to donate once again.
Nice.
Douchebag check.
Yeah, nice.
Von Glitchka in Salem, Oregon, $60. Sir Thomas Barron Nussbaum in Virginia Beach, Virginia. 55-55 because Lauren said to do it.
Right on.
Kevin Dills in Charlotte, North Carolina. He will be knighted shortly. Is there anything in that note?
Let me see. Although I was late to the No Agenda Party, I've listened to every episode, read every newsletter, and loved every bit of the best podcast in the universe since show 645, The Ghost of Austin was the title.
That's a good one.
I would like to thank both of you for all of your hard... Yeah. I had a joke there. Never mind. I would like to thank all of you for all your hard work in putting together such a great show. I will continue to hold up my end of the value for value model to the best of my ability. I'd like to humbly request the Terror Laptop of Doom jingle for my fellow dudes and dudettes named Ben, plus some job karma for those who can use it. And
with the job karma at the end.
When I'm looking at that, would you... what's the last thing he's saying there?
Pleases the nice and would like to be known henceforth as Sir Kevin Dills, Knight of the Queen City.
Okay, I have, I think I have 2 Terror Laptop of Doom. Let me just make sure I've got the right one.
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember this clip. That's why I sent you an email about it.
Yeah, I think I have it.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You've got karma.
Josh?
One more time.
Yeah, good.
Where did that
Josh
Terror Laptop of Doom story go, huh? What happened to that? Where was that treasure trove of information?
Oh, give me some background. Now I'm starting to remember this.
Okay, this was, and I think it was actually a Dutch guy, and they found this laptop in a safe house of ISIS safe house, and it was unencrypted, and was just it's a treasure trove of information. Don't you remember this?
Yeah,
they called it the Terror Laptop of Doom.
Oh yeah, another bunch of bull crap.
Yeah.
Josh McDonald, double nickels on the dime, parts unknown. Matthew Seaver, Knoxville, Tennessee, who sent a check in for double nickels on the dime. Oh, look, woo! Right at the top of the pile.
Oh, goodness.
My wife and I love the show. Keep up the good work. I think it's best when the family when everybody likes the show, because it doesn't just
it doesn't split up the family.
It shouldn't split up the family. I know it has.
Yeah, haters be haters. Hey, be hating on me.
Eric Osnez in Lawndale, California, double nickels on the dime. Tanya Bellman in Epsom, Surrey, UK, $55. John Lopez. Now these arrests are $50, and there's only a few of them. Wyoming, Michigan. David Dural, Malta, New York.
Hey, but I just want to read John's note. John Lopez. I've had a rough month lately selling my truck, putting up with a lot of pain, but you guys always brighten my morning at work. Send some truck selling karma. Yeah, we'll send that.
Put that at the end. You get it at the end.
Of course.
David Dural, Malta, New York. Ross Turpin in Troy, Kansas. These are all 50s. Gerald Inabinate, Union, South Carolina. Sir Peter Totes, 50. Martin Williamson in Elgin, UK. Michael Towen in Hayden, Idaho. Shad Rich and DeBendigo, parts unknown. Mason Gill in Boogie Down, Bronx, New York, $50. That concludes our list of donors for this show, 691. Very short list, but we do want to thank them for helping us for this show.
Absolutely. Also, anyone who came in with monthlies, with our boarding passes, 33s, 50s, thank you so much. But it has been dwindling. And now you wrote me, John, you said that you believe, because people all want to catch up and they're listening to every bit, that the show is too long, and that is now actually hurting donations.
I have that sense, yes. The show is too long and it's hurting donations. We even have the great Grand Duke Pelsmakers, who is
also behind. Yeah,
he's way behind. He said way behind. And the show has been going 3 hours and longer, and I think 3 hours is probably too much.
Well, we're already now at 2
hours.
Well, then, okay. Good night, everybody. It was good talking to you. Yep, let's go. Bye.
Actually, here's the
bye.
The best podcast in the universe.
It's 2 hours right now.
Here's the clip I want you to play. Play the 10 minutes to go clip.
Yeah.
Okay?
When do we use this?
I think we should use it
all the time.
All the time.
Top of the hour. Here we go, everybody. Less than 10 minutes to go. All right. Well, move along then. There may be some disagreements about that.
Well, let's play the...
I have to do karma, birthdays, all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
jobs karma, so I said.
Oh, okay. Jobs karma, and then we'll move on. Thank you all very much. As you know, we need you to contribute.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Got to make good for birthday from show 690. Jacqueline would like to wish her husband a very happy birthday. His name is Sasha. Birthday boy's name is Sasha Landis. His birthday was on the 25th. And happy belated birthday from us. Don O'Malley says a belated happy birthday to his beautiful wife, Jen. She turned 33 on the 25th. And Ken Gross celebrates 56 years today. Happy birthday from all your friends and the staff and management here at the best podcast in the universe. One knighting for today. Very nice to see.
What I mentioned, yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
But Jen was hoping to get that. It was like a gift to when she donated. It was a gift to her husband, so he should know that. It was on her behalf.
You mean Jacqueline? Jacqueline.
Jacqueline.
Yes. I'm not quite sure what happened.
I don't either. I don't know.
It happens.
I sent her an apology.
Oh, very good. Okay. Kevin Dills, come on up to the podium. You are now about to be inducted into that fabulous table that is round with the Knights and the Dames of the No Agenda Round Table, and you have requested a specific name, and I hereby pronounceate thee Sir Kevin Dills, Knight of the Queen City. For you, my friend, as always, hookers and blow, rent boys and Chardonnay, root beer and pepperoni pizza, puppies and Taylor vintage port, malted barley and hops, root beer and Legos, girlfriend experiences and good bourbon, hot pants and booze, long-haired heavy metal guys and scotch, bong hits and bourbon, sparkling cider and escorts, or maybe just some good old mutton and mead. And head over to noagendanation.com/rings. Now, the store is closed, right? The No Agenda Nation store.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, that's too bad.
You can always ask him for stuff. He still has stuff in inventory.
Oh. Yeah, people want
mugs. Lots of mugs.
Mugs. Yeah. It just... sorry to hear that.
People don't buy stuff. That's the problem.
People don't buy stuff. Yeah, they want free stuff. People always want free stuff. They want free. I forgot of this great little thing here. I was going to tie it into Miss USA. Can I call back to that for a moment?
Sure.
So in Iowa, I guess they had the Freedom Conference or whatever it is. And that's where Republicans get together, and a lot of people are there who are want to be possibly considered.
There's actually two of these events. One was in L.A., and I think the money event was the L.A. one. But there's that Iowa thing going on, yes.
And what came out of it on the media, which was a little baffling to me, was Sarah Palin. Now, I've always stood up for Sarah Palin for her book and for her record in Alaska. But I've been very disappointed sometimes. I'm just stand up for women in general. And I think she's always gotten... I'm amazed at how mean women can be towards her.
Yeah.
I mean, really just load up. Like, she's a stupid bitch. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or, they'll just horrible things. I'm like, wow, why are you so... what? And I'm not quite sure where this comes from. But just...
She's not a Democrat. That's why all women should be Democrats.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. And so apparently, although I'm not sure, everyone's, her prompter failed and she sucked. It was like gobbledygook. She's crazy. And so, well, let me go look this up then. But I want to play it out of sequence. Nicole Wallace was on Letterman. Nicole Wallace, I think she was the communications director for the McCain-Palin team, the Mavericks, when they were running. And this is when this really started, when it was an interview. Who was it? To Jane, not Jane Pauley. Whoever it was that said, what newspapers do you read every day? And then Palin couldn't come up with an answer, and then they highlighted that and made it look like an idiot. Very, very similar to not James Dean, Howard Dean with the Scream, and that just killed his chances of being a presidential candidate forever. It was a media moment.
It was great.
And so actually, I wanted to play this out of order. I want to play Nicole Wallace first because she's on Letterman. I guess she's there purely just to tell everybody, wow, Sarah Palin's really stupid. And I had no way.
Letterman was all in on Sarah Palin's stupidity.
And had no way. Oh, yeah. Which is, it's just, I don't know. So I'm not quite sure why she was on, but she was there to say, well, I was in charge of that. And I think the message is kind of, she's so stupid that I couldn't even handle it.
But let me ask you this. At the time when she, I guess she announced, or he introduced her in Ohio.
Yeah.
And then she made that speech at the Republican convention.
Right.
Now, after that speech, people really sat up and thought, oh, well, they've really done themselves a huge favor here in selecting the governor from Alaska. Why didn't that last? Why didn't that work?
I think that our politics, and I think, look, President Obama is an example of this. You have to check all the boxes, right? She was able to excite us, but she wasn't able to prove that she had the experience for the job. And she gave a speech this weekend in Iowa where, again, on full display were all the gaps in her knowledge. And that's what became obvious, not just to the public, but to us. And that was sort of chilling.
I love that, to us. What, the elites of the world? Or what are you? And as the
douchebag consultants?
That was sort of chilling.
I think the first one was when she was interviewed by Katie Couric, and it was a question seemingly not insurmountable. What newspapers do you read?
Yeah. She blamed me for that one.
Now, was that should you have prepped her on something like that?
Probably.
Yeah. So you would have said, now, they may ask you what newspapers you read, so have 2 or 3 in mind. That's what you would have done?
I should have, yeah. I mean, she was right to blame us. I mean, she was not handled in a way that showcased her strengths after that convention speech. So I think she had every right to blame her handlers. It's just, as someone who had worked in politics for over a decade, I'd never encountered somebody like her.
Right.
Stupid cunt! Woo! It makes me mad to hear these things. So here is the 50 seconds of what everyone says is she just gaps in her knowledge, lost it. And by the way, when our president's teleprompter goes out, fire in the house.
It must change. Things must change for this our government. Look at it.
And by the way, her voice is annoying.
It isn't too big
her voice is outrageously annoying, and you'd think they'd EQ her or something.
Or just tell her to, you can
quit screeching.
Yeah, you can teach yourself. But now she's in panic mode, I guess, because her speech is off the teleprompter.
Our government. Look at it. It isn't too big to fail. It's too big to succeed. It's too big to succeed, so we can afford no retreads, or nothing will change with the same people and same policies that got us into the status quo. Another Latin word, status quo. And it stands for, man, the middle class, everyday Americans are really getting taken for a ride. That's status quo. And GOP leaders, by the way, the man can only ride you when your back is bent. So
that was my favorite line, by the way.
Strengthen it. Then the man can't ride you. American won't be taken for a ride because so much is at stake. And we can't afford politicians playing games like nothing more is at stake than, maybe just the next standing of theirs in the next election.
So,
okay, well, first of all, let me say something here. This was not a story I paid much attention to. But she was sabotaged.
Of course she was. Of course. It was a setup. And I think she actually pulled it off, kind of. It's pretty crazy, but it's not like she's insane.
Well, a couple of things that she should have done or should have learned by now. And when I was doing the teleprompter reading for 4 or 5 years at Tech TV daily, so I got pretty good at it. But you have all these different things happen that it's always something new. And so you're going along reading, and off the prompter, and then dead. Mm-hmm. No prompter. Mm-hmm. And so you always have your prompter script is written on blue paper.
And you go straight down to your paper, and then you
go down to your paper. But if you don't really have any experience making that transition, you will make a mess. I mean, it's horrible. I've screwed it up so bad, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But after screwing it up, I had a prompter fail after that. I had no problem because I didn't panic because I expected it to happen again, and it did, about a year later. And I went right down to the sheets and started reading the sheets right on time. If you watch a professional, which I don't do this, or I didn't do this, a professional newsreader.
You mean a professional like Toure?
No, like touring. If a professional talking head newsreader, they will flip the pages.
Oh, yeah.
On the script on their desk as they read from the prompter.
Yes.
And they'll glance down once in a while and then flip it. So there'll be so if the prompter fails, they go right to the paper to the right page. Yeah. And that is a pro. She has none of these skills. No. And she can barely read from the prompter without screeching. So she was set up. That would be easy to do. You can also drop words into their script and
that's also fun, yeah. But anyway, I just find it always annoyed me. I would not vote for this woman. I think she's extremely annoying. But even more annoying is just how women in particular shit on her. I don't know, but I'm not. I mean, I think your point is valid. It's because she's not a Democrat. There you go. End of story.
Just that simple.
Yeah.
It's like the black guys who aren't Democrats. They make their lives miserable too.
Yeah, they do.
So Obama went to India.
Yes. Now, when I heard that he was shortening his trip to go pay homage to the dead Saudi royal, I thought immediately, there goes our chances. And you had predicted that something bad might happen. I would say the security was quite amped up and mentioned as such when he went to India.
Yeah, and I finally figure out what he's doing there. And this is
that was pretty obvious once I saw the CEO roundtable.
Yes, well, here's the kind of a good summary. I think it kind of tells what the real action is. This is Modi and Obama together for sales.
That's one of the central takeaways from this visit. As you know, Narendra Modi has been elected essentially as a modernizer. And there are two aspects to that modernization. One, of course, is to modernize the Indian economy. He campaigned on a platform suggesting that he's going to restore high growth. So that's his number one priority by a long distance. But part of that modernization also is military modernization. He believes that India needs a strong military. He believes in a kind of Indian version of peace through strength. And that means that India is going to need...
Is that what Gandhi said? Peace through strength, so we can get some weapons or whatever? Sure.
I really doubt it.
He literally, this guy said, it's the Indian way. We're peaceful through strength with big ass guns.
He believes in a kind of Indian version of peace through strength. And that means that India is going to need great technological upgrades. It's going to need to spend a lot of money to get a lot of things right, particularly because it drifted over the last 10 years under the previous government. And there is no country except for the United States that can help India fulfill Modi's ambitions if you look at the scale of those ambitions.
It kind of puts Pakistan on notice there.
Cha-ching.
Wow. That is...
So I congratulate Obama for doing that.
Yeah, it's a sales. Well, of course, that's what he does. He's supposed to do sales.
Yeah, and he did. I mean, somebody complained when we rolled out the Russian deal that was done with Putin visiting, and he sold like 25 nuclear facilities and a bunch of military stuff that they already had. There's, I think, choppers and some other things. And somebody wrote in, I don't understand why they don't buy from America. I said, well, they didn't, the Russians sent their number one sales guy, Putin, over there to do the deal, and Obama hasn't gone over there. Then he goes over there.
And guess what? People like that. They like it when the boss comes over for the sales.
Yeah. This is like the top sales guy.
Yeah.
You know what, these low end guys, some douche going over there.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
Meanwhile, I believe while he was gone, there was this horrible incident.
Oh, wait a minute.
Win, lose, or drone.
That's right, everybody. It's time once again for the reality show that tries to drone you. Why, you could even be the president and get droned. It's time for
Win, lose, or drone.
Yeah, John. Who do we have as our candidate today?
I have two contestants. They're contrary views of this. One is from PBS, and that's the clip quadcopter into lockdown, and then we play the Russian Today angle after that.
Okay, so this is
number one.
Number one is the PBS angle. Here we go.
Back in Washington, a small drone crashed onto the White House grounds early today. The Secret Service released a photo of it and said a man was flying it for recreation but lost control. The pre-dawn incident triggered an emergency lockdown of the White House complex.
Win, lose, or drone.
Now the RT version.
Well, the Secret Service is investigating after a small drone crashed on the White House lawn early this morning. As you can imagine, that action alone triggered a major emergency response. President Obama is in India today, and he was not at home when that drone breached the White House grounds around 3 a.m. Secret Service spokesman Brian Larry said officials were working to identify any suspects and determine what the motive might have been. So let's talk about that drone. This particular drone, one of those 2-foot-long quadcopters. You've seen these before. They're sold in stores all over the country. Many times they do have a small HD camera attached, like the one in the picture here. They are essentially toys.
Right.
Yeah, toys.
Well,
so a Lego, throw a Lego over the fence, and they'll shut down the attack of the Legos.
And
I think that was the more accurate description of what happened. A toy.
Agree.
A toy landed on a lawn. And let's lock down the whole place.
Well,
this is pathetic.
Let's do a little more than that.
And the president's not even there.
And what did the president do when this happened?
What did he do?
Here he is.
I've actually asked the FAA and a number of agencies to examine how are we managing this new technology.
Let me think. We have meetings on Monday, and then we decide who we're going to kill, and then we fly a drone.
I have 2 words for you. Predator drones.
That's what we do with this technology.
Because the drone that landed in the White House, you buy in Radio Shack.
You better hurry up, because Radio Shack going to close them doors, so you better hurry up if you're going to buy it there.
You know that there are companies like Amazon that are talking about using small drones to deliver packages.
Wow. Is the President of the United States actually propagating that crap?
Apparently.
People, this is not going to happen in our lifetime. Amazon's going to be delivering packages with drones. It's just science fiction crap.
There are incredibly useful functions that these drones can play in terms of
killing people.
Farmers who are
farmers
managing.
You mean like spying on farmers to see if the cows are theirs? Yeah, that's what we've done with this useful technology. And what else have we? killing people,
crops, and
to protect the poppy crops. He's struggling. Oh shit! What can I do? What can I say? I don't want to say killing people. It's very useful, these drones, for crops and
conservationists who want to
kill people.
Take stock of
rabbits, bunnies,
wildlife.
Huh.
So there are a whole range of things we can do with it.
So, this technology is great.
But we don't really have any kind of regulatory structure at all for it.
No.
So I've assigned some of the relevant agencies
steering committee
to start talking to stakeholders and
stakeholders cook that meat,
pulled pork,
figure out how we're going to put an architecture in place that makes sure that these things aren't dangerous and that they're not violating people's privacy.
Very funny, unless it's the government.
In some ways, Fareed, this is similar to what's happened in cyberspace. These technologies that we're developing had the capacity to empower individuals in ways that we couldn't even imagine 10, 15 years ago.
Wow. Meanwhile, it turns out that this was the employee, or the person who flew this, was an employee of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency.
I know. Isn't that funny?
I'm calling setup.
Yeah, okay. I think that's probably true.
Yeah, and he comes out with, Fareed, please let me tell you, this technology could be used for good, for taking stock of wildlife or killing people, which is your favorite thing to do. So I that to me was, and he immediately put together a steering committee. Okay. Fine.
Well, that's what he does.
Fine.
So I'm listening to PBS NewsHour, and they actually ran a Koch brother. There's one ad going around from the Koch brothers.
Koch brothers!
They had some woman come on and discuss the Koch brothers and how much money they're going to spend for the upcoming political.
Oh, you mean when they buy the Senate?
Well, yeah. Well, they already bought the Senate. They're going to start buying locals. Whatever the case.
Yeah.
Gwen Eiffel mentions that they also finance a lot of PBS stuff, and then she gleefully says they're trying to change their image and plays an entire commercial. I only have a piece of it, but you want to hear the way it's set up. I was stunned. I think that the Koch brothers asked for some native advertising and got it.
Democrats have really tried to vilify them and create this kind of caricature of puppeteers pulling the strings behind the Republican Party. We've seen actually both Charles and David Koch and their company Koch Industries engage more in the public eye, and where there's actually ad campaign now touting Koch.
Which we can show. Let's take a look at it.
Woo!
You may not always see our name on the products you use, but we help make better food, clothing, shelter, technologies, and other necessities. Here, we build on each other's ideas.
You can kill the commercial. We're not.
I've seen this commercial.
I've seen it too.
I've seen it around.
Shows a bunch of people smiling.
So why would they? I mean, this thing is aired everywhere. Why would? Did they roll the whole thing?
They rolled the entire ad.
Wow.
Less than 10 minutes to go.
Just so you know,
Okay.
less than 10 minutes to go. You got to hurry up here.
Exactly.
Well,
when I first had this report, I was clipping it out, and I thought to myself as I was making the clip, saying, why did they run the whole ad? You could run just a chunk of it, or just talk about it.
Right.
You're on PBS. Why would you run the whole ad unless this was a setup?
And they act like it's like a world planetary video premiere of a Michael Jackson video. It's like, we've seen this. This is nothing new.
I know. It's just I was stunned. I tell you.
Yeah, no, I understand. That's very interesting. Let me see.
Heroin's being promoted.
Yeah. There's a couple things, but I only want to do one, since we only have 10 more minutes. This was out of character, I thought. And so is Candy now gone from CNN?
Yes, she was fired. Or maybe quit.
Well, do we know she's no longer? Because I think one of the last things she did was this interview with President Obama, and I left
something bad in there that got.
I left her question in here. It's about Putin. No, it's not even about Putin. It's about well, you'll hear what it's about. But Obama's answer, I think, needs to be analyzed by us. We are the appropriate gentleman to do that.
So let me move you on to the other big story that we've had, and that is your reach out, or Cuba's reach to you and your reach to Cuba. Listening to the critics, part of this is they wrap it up in how you've dealt with other sort of bad actors. Oh, this is what he's done. He's accommodated Syria by not crossing the red line. He has accommodated Iran by talking to them on nuclear weapons. And sort of down the line, Russia, he's allowed Putin to move in and take Crimea. And here's the gist of it. The gist of it is that you're naive and they're rolling you.
They're rolling you. This now, for Candy Crowley to use this term, I found interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
They're rolling you. I mean, what is she, gangsta now, or is she? Yeah, it's like this. I don't even.
And it's such street argot, it's such jargon. There are real words for they're fooling you, or they're tricking you, or they're something that's actually more explanatory than they're rolling you. That means in 20 years ago, if you get rolled, that means you got robbed.
And I'm not sure that rolling you is actual a street term that is au courant.
I don't think it is. Well,
So-
let's find out. I'm going to go to while you're playing the rest of that clip. I'm going to go to whatever that Urban Dictionary.
Yeah. So this was said about Mr. Putin, for example, 3 or 4 months ago. There was a spate of stories about how he was the chess master and outmaneuvering the West and outmaneuvering Mr. Obama and this and that and the other.
Okay. Now, what he just said there, he's the chess master outmaneuvering Mr. Obama and this, that, and the other. Wow. He speaks of himself in the third person and then actually pulls out
that was bad.
The this, that, and the other. And if you look at his facial expression, it was telling. And I feel whenever someone uses that in the context of themselves, this, that, and the other, something is bothering them, or they're lying, or there is some emotional thing that is happening when you use this, that, and the other. Would you agree, or am I off base here?
I don't think you're off base.
This, that, and the other. And then talking about himself in the third person.
That's screwy.
I mean, who does that?
Football players. Psychos.
There's a spate of stories about how he is the chess master and outmaneuvering the West and outmaneuvering Mr. Obama and this and that and the other. And right now he's presiding over the collapse of his currency, a major financial crisis, and a huge economic contraction. That doesn't sound like somebody who has rolled me or the United States of America.
He has not. Huh?
Well, go on.
I would say so. Here he is. Does not look like someone who's rolled me. And then when I heard this, I'm like, oh,
that's how we go. That's how we roll.
That's how we roll. Maybe that's what it's about. It's like because he's using. That's how we roll. He rolled me. He didn't roll me. That's how we roll. We roll. I don't know. It's this.
There's about 20 definitions so far on rolling in Urban Dictionary, and they all refer to being high on ecstasy.
Wow.
It's about
really.
Yeah, that's the main use of that word. And I'm still going, and it's still another one. There's another one.
That's interesting.
Rolling. Here's an old one from 2010, which is throwing toilet paper on someone's house, apparently.
I found it to be extremely defensive. The whole thing was strange, and it was scripted, I guess. I mean, why else would you use this roll word? I just have to question.
I can't find any evidence that she's using it right. Now, the other thing is she quit in December, and she's just not working anyplace else. She looks like she just retired. But there's no explanation as to why she quit. I'm sure it's in the trade somewhere.
Sketchy.
Maybe it's for this interview. I don't know.
Could be. All right, that's seriously, John. If we want to keep to your mantra, then you got to close it.
Well, first I want to play the Auschwitz clip so we can get that out of the way. This is the Auschwitz had its 70th anniversary, and even though most people don't realize this, I think I discussed it in the newsletter. It was the Russian army, the Red Army, that liberated Auschwitz. It wasn't the Americans.
And guess what? Putin was not invited.
And Putin was not invited. It irked a number of the still living Auschwitz inmates.
Warsaw did not formally extend an invitation to the Russian President Vladimir Putin to attend. And the feeling on the ground, according to various sources, is this is because it was wary of political consequences of doing so in light of the Ukrainian crisis. However, Holocaust survivors have been particularly critical of this, pointing out that it was, after all, the Red Army that liberated this camp, Auschwitz-Birkenau, some 70 years ago.
The Russians liberated the camp. The Russians liberated the camp, not the Americans, not the Russians. And it makes sense that people of the government, if not Putin, is to be there. It's obvious.
The decision by the Polish government not to invite the Russian president to the ceremony marking 70 years since the liberation of the Auschwitz death camp is a scandal. How can you fail to invite the leader of a country that fought against Nazi Germany and liberated Auschwitz?
Organizers, however, are urging that the focus today should not be on politics, pointing out that this is possibly going to be the last large gathering of Auschwitz survivors.
Yeah, I followed this with some interest, and I don't know. It also still somehow put Poland in a strange light, and
Poland is always getting screwed in these deals.
And I'm hearing that the Poles are worried that the NATO friends may kind of leave them in the lurch, and hey, Russia could invade us.
Because they will.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And for some reason, I'm not sure why, but I connected this to the history of Manchuria and the Mukden incident. I'm not sure exactly why I did that. I think maybe it was in... Oh, okay, yes. Oh, it's kind of I'll do it Sunday. It's kind of a long way around that I need your help on it. And
okay.
It could go nowhere, so I'd hate for that to be the last impression if we leave on the show. And I have tech news, which we'll also have to do on Sunday. But I got some good ones. Sunday. All right, well, we're going to try your system, John, and see if this helps by cutting out early.
10 minutes.
Less than 10 minutes to go.
Less than 10 minutes. All right, everybody, please consider supporting the work that we do here. We do put in the time. We do put in the hours. We do put in the brain cycles. And thank you to all of our producers who are out there, not just helping us with the financial support for the show, but also your ideas, your work, your research. Even when they amount to nothing, it's all incredibly appreciated because it's just different thinking, and we have built a community and a network that you're a part of, and makes these keeps us healthier. My goodness, just keeps us healthier.
And I'm putting off till Sunday, apparently, my discussion of where the hugs why they became popular and where and why.
Looking forward
I have it nailed, by the way.
Okay. Oh, I'm waiting for it. I will remind you to do this.
Yeah, remind me. Sunday, you'll get the explanation. I teased it in the newsletter, but apparently we didn't have time.
We had less than 10 minutes left. We have to go. Coming to you from FEMA Region 6 in downtown Austin. Good morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from Northern Silicon Valley, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll be back on Sunday right here on No Agenda.
That's how we go. That's how we roll.
That's all, folks.
And that's the story.
Ow! ISIS.
We will follow them to the gates of hell.
ISIS.
I feel good.
I've got information, man. New shit has come to light.
Climate change is real.
It's real. It's real. It's real.
Less than 10 minutes to go. Okay?
I'm Joe Biden, and thank you for taking the time to listen.
Adios, mofo.
The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/NA